that's the one God made, and that's the truth. But man, keep on trying to hold me back while another chicken head come home to lose. Too strong, try to do me wrong, and the last one standing will order and command you to dance. Oh, dance.
Well, tell your preacher and your teacher I'ma give you what you love. I got to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. Give you what you love. Give you some love. Yeah, baby. I said I take your time, take what you love, baby, just enough, but never too much, baby. Take your time, take what you love, and when that baby cry, you better look at that, baby. Take your time, take what you love, baby, just enough, but never too much, baby. Take your time, and when it give me some love, won't you give me what you love?
Well, well, well. Good afternoon, all and sundry. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my happy and sunny voice or seeing my happy face, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Listen, y'all, so much is going on in these Wakandan streets, I don't know where to start. Every night when I get off the air with you guys, I start researching my news stories for the next day. And there's so much going on. And then I'm returning phone calls, you know. People email me, I have to return them. I had a great conversation with Joe this morning. You know, he made a comment on on the Facebook page yesterday, and I said to him, let's talk, and we talked today. I called him. He said, sis, you actually called me. I'm like, yeah, I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do it, set your clock by it. If I tell you I'm not going to do it, you can set your clock by that too, right? And, you know, the conversation he and I had was such a good one, but it's one that is a reminder to all of you. We have nothing but our name, which is our word, right? We keep our word and our integrity. What is what are we doing? Are we just talking just to hear ourselves talk? Or are we really making an indelible difference in the lives of others? And so part of the conversations that I've been having with you all for about a year now, which, by the way, I have literally been on the air for a year on WURD radio with no fanfare, didn't even do a happy anniversary, nothing, because it's just, time has just flown right on by. So I'm high-fiving myself for making it a whole year, really working on the air with all of you all, having great conversations, meeting with prospective clients, you know, listening to you, really hearing what you have to say. If you notice, Mother is wearing her glasses. Dr. Major put a blue tint in my glass so that I'd be able to look at my computer screen, since I spent an average of about 8 to 9 hours a day in my office. I have a dedicated office in my house. And my eyes were drying out and I couldn't see. I was like, what in the Sam Hill? I'd wake up and couldn't open up one eye. And then I remembered that, you know, she put it in my glasses, and my glasses are not for being cute. I use them for driving, but I'm using them for using, you know, looking at the computer. Mother is telling her age, I'm telling you, in these streets. So anyway, let's just keep on going, right? So much is going on out here. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want me to start? One of the things that I talked about, I am not going to do COVID. Lord, I'm telling you, we're doing COVID today, but it will not be the thing that I start the show with. I know you're all inundated with it and you're sick of hearing about it, but we have to keep talking, right? I watched a documentary on WHYY last weekend. My husband had watches public television, broadcasting television all the time, and I awakened to this documentary on WHYY about Reconstruction, and learned, because remember, not all of us know the history here of this country, especially if you're not born and raised here. So I learned that in the late 1860s, early 1870s, there were at least 9 black men who were in the United States Senate and a couple who were in Congress, and just black people were doing very well. They were had gained traction after slavery and was really doing some things, and then white folks came in again and did what they did and, you know, tried to make us look like coons, and then it was just a big deal, right? What I am concerned about is that this is not recorded in our history books anywhere. Jacob, call already. Hold on one second, Jacob. I'm going to get you in a minute. And so there is a piece written by USA Today that said Southern Schools History Textbooks, a long history of deception and what the future holds. It was written by Brian Lyman for the Montgomery Advertiser. And it was written yesterday. For much of the 20th century, Southern classrooms treated Black history, when they touched the subject at all, as a sideshow to a white-dominated narrative. Teachers taught students to sing Dixie and memorize long lists of forgettable governors. Civil War battles got described in detail. Textbooks celebrated the violent overthrow of democratically elected multiracial governments. Lynching went unmentioned. The evilries of slavery got cursory acknowledgments and quick dismissals. It should be noted that slavery was the earliest form of Social Security in the United States. A 1961 Alabama history textbook said falsely. Lord have mercy. The same forces that took over public spaces to erect monuments to the Confederacy and its white supremacist tenets also kept a tight grip on the history taught to Southern pupils. The United Daughters of the Confederacy spent decades shaping and reshaping textbooks to put a strong emphasis on lost cause views of the Civil War and Reconstruction, while glorified the white supremacist foundations of the Confederacy and was used to justify segregation and authoritarian Jim Crow governance. I got news for them. It's happening here in the Northeast Tips too. With all the attention they received in terms of reference to the monuments, I think their most lasting impact was in controlling and censoring textbooks, said Kevin Levin, a historian who has written on Civil War in American memory that is often overlooked. So there are so many children right here in Pennsylvania. I'm bringing it now back from the southern states to right now in Pennsylvania. So many children who are fighting in their schools, you know, showing up at their school board meetings, requesting nicely. Because remember now, we always start by asking nicely for you to make sure that Black history and all of that it entails show up in our teaching of our classes. And quite often, and I've heard it myself, superintendents, school superintendents, and school board members, I'm talking to you too, and teachers in schools, civics and history teachers in schools are saying, it's just too much, we can't get to it. And so the time has come for us to stop playing the games about our history. If we want to do something about what's been going on in this country, if we want to make an impact and a difference, then we can start with how we share history in school districts across this Commonwealth and beyond. I'm starting with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Those children, those young people who are consistently showing up at school board meetings and asking for history to be shown in their books, if you can't, because, you know, McGraw and all those other people who write the books, I've sat on those committees where we decide what history books make it into the curriculum for the next few years. And not one time while sitting on those committees did anyone say, these history books are not correct historically and you need to fix it. No one said it. We just accepted it and put it into the curriculum for children to learn. And so now we're asking, yes, it's going to take some time for the publishers of books to put the history in, but you can also show things like WHYY. Public Broadcasting Television really shows us a lot of what we've been missing in schools. And there's a series of documentaries on PBS, the Public Broadcasting Station, that shows our history correctly. So if you can't get it in a history book and you're figuring out as an educator, you don't know what to do, and you're now on Zoom, even if you were in your classrooms, I am asking you to play the correct history and make it a part of your curriculum. I'm not begging you. I'm telling you that the time has more than come for us to do this. Racism and implicit bias and explicit bias has consistently been a part of the fabric of the American way. And while this city of Philadelphia, now I'm drilling it down to the city of Philadelphia, while we account for more than 60% of the population, diggity dang, we run just about nothing here, right? And so I am on a mission for us, for the people who live here in this city, to wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of complaining just to hear yourselves complaining, and let's start to make a plan. You don't have to make the plan visible here, but the young people are really sick and tired, which is why we've had so much unrest in this country, even in the middle of a pandemic, of a virus that's killing so many people. So we're going to keep talking about this, right? Leveling up the education for our children. If you can't change the textbooks right away, there are certainly programs out here. You can go on Google, let YouTube be your friend, right? And start to change the history of what we've been teaching our children in the country. Jacob, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Hey, peace be unto you, my sister. How you doing today?
Listen, I'm good. I can see now. I got my glasses on. I was trying to be cute, Jacob.
Okay. But you know
How are
what?
you?
First of all, I want to say congrats on your 1 year, because it
Thank
seems
you.
like you've been working harder. So look
Oh,
like you done
man.
put 2 years of work into 1 year. So
I'm
I
trying
know
to tell you. Yep, I
your
did.
next year, you know, hey, look, by the time your next year come, we going to be woke. But you know what? That PBS show that I watched that the other night.
Uh-huh.
But you know, did you pick up when they were getting the schools together, right, for blacks?
Yes.
Do you know back then it was a lot of black people that didn't want whites to teach their children?
Yes. Remember? Did you see that? And they started their own schools? Yes. And they started their own public schools.
own because,
Yes.
see, again, they had common sense. They know how cruel they were being. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's what we got to say to the 70-something million people who voted for Trump, right? 45. Y'all lost the Civil War, right? Get over it. Just like you lost this election. You got to get over it. We're never going back to what you thought America was great when y'all, you know, the white supremacy thing. That's gone. That's dead. We're woke now. And we see that even our men and women back there, you was talking about the senators and stuff that we had, right?
Yes.
They had good human leadership back
They
then.
did.
Yeah.
They did. It was
And
so good.
And you see how sharp they were? They were dressed
Yes,
too.
sir. Yes,
What?
sir. And they
We
had
always-
integrity. Yes, they did.
Yes. And so the bottom line is we had that then, and we're going to get it back again. And anybody that don't like it, they know where they can go, because we're not going anywhere. I always say this. I tell my brothers and sisters, I've been to Africa. I love that country, man. Beautiful. I know that's where my roots were. But I was born here in America.
Yep.
And for 400 years, my African ancestors cried, died, bled, did everything for me to have an inheritance here. And so I'm saying that the way that we had people in government now, that's why I like the balance that I see now in our black leadership, that the ones that know that they got to change these laws, because like you said, nobody ever looked at these history books that they, white folks, give us and never questioned, well, where's our history in it? Where's our, that's up for us to do. But if we don't do it, we're going to blame them. We can't blame them. We got to blame ourselves. So we're woke, sister, and we're going to continue to stay woke and wake up more. And with people like yourself, sisters and brothers like yourself, I don't see where, like the tune where I was the band leader for my boys, I don't see no stopping us now. I can't see nothing stopping us. Not that 70 million, we're going to help them out, because one of the things that said the job of the civilized is to teach the uncivilized. So, and we see a little, that little raw stuff there. They got to be given a little culture and whatnot and told the truth, because a lot of them are ignorant about what happened to us and what what we contributed to this America that they claim they love, but then they'll speak against the democracy and try to overturn the election. But anyway, but thank you, sister. Congratulations on your first year, and may you have many, many more until you don't want them no more.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one, okay? All right, bye-bye. Joseph, Massachusetts, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. Hold on.
Did you ask me to hold on? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I pressed a button and my photo. Come on. Yeah, before we talk about Reconstruction, what went wrong? You know, we do it to ourselves. We get shot in the foot. The oppressor give us choices, and that's where we go wrong. Are you familiar with the Harlem Renaissance?
Yes, I am.
All right, the Harlem Renaissance. You had the Caribbean with the African American coming together. You had Marcus Garvey, Paul Robeson, W.E.B. Du Bois, Bayard Rustin came after, Claude McKay from Jamaica, Richard B. Moore from Barbados, Claudia Jones, head of the Young Communist Party of Trinidad from Trinidad and Tobago. In the 60s, you had A. Philip Randolph. Now, the person who single-handedly basically formed the March on Washington, D.C., was a guy called Bayard Rustin. You ever heard of him?
I have, yes.
Yeah, well, he was an atheist communist. What the oppressor do? They give voices only to people who will support the Malcolm X and the Dr. Martin Luther King. So when we don't teach the kids the truth of what really went on, we do it to ourselves. We have to talk about everybody who played a role. Even if you believe in a God, you're a Christian, you're Islam, you're a Muslim, you have to speak about the leaders who were atheists. Bayard Rustin was a communist, atheist. Most of those great black leaders were atheists. W. Du Bois was an atheist. And then you had all socialist Pan-African like Stokely Carmichael, also known as Kwame Ture from Trinidad. What the oppressor is doing, he's dividing us. He's making us go against foreign black, against the African-American black, black woman against black man. That's why we're going to be in the bottom. We're going to stay in the bottom until we realize we're not calling our own shot. There's people in high position.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for calling. All right, bye-bye. Okay, all right. This is the way we're going to start my one-year anniversary show. I'm making this my one-year anniversary show. I think I passed it some while back, but here we go. You know, our opinions, you know, this is Black Talk Media, and we're not always going to agree. We're not always going to have the same opinions. So this is why I tell you all the time, read, know your history books, know what's going on. And when they're not in our favor, where we can't see what's going on, get to know. You know, it doesn't harm us to read, and we can travel so many places with reading. I hear my friends now talking about the fact that they're reading books by listening to them while they're driving from point A to point B. More power to them. However you get your reading in, get it done. But I like picking up a book and reading it myself to just see and turning the pages and marking the book and, you know, the pieces that mean something to me so that I can go back to it. I also learned how to be an avid speller. And the meaning of great words through reading. So it's something that we can do with our children. It's not something that we should shy away from, and we can find interesting ways to continue to teach our children, black, white, or indifferent, how to read, because that is the tunnel into where we can get to where we need to go. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
Have you heard about City Council's plan to build more affordable housing, repair existing homes, create jobs, and support small business? The Neighborhood Preservation Initiative will invest $400 million in Philly communities. Read about it at www.phlcouncil.com/NPI.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I am loving the Facebook viewers. They are hilarious. I love you all. Bernita Francine says, readers make leaders. Absolutely. I was reading fluently at the age of 3, and I'm telling you, there are things you can pick up in a textbook that you can't pick up anywhere else. It's just good. You learn so much about so many different cultures. Not only that, when you learn about other people other than yourselves, right, it gives you a greater understanding of what's going on around you, and you tend not to have that much of an ego, right? You tend to see what's happening with different aspects of life, and how it all comes together, which is part of why I love getting in my car and driving across the country. Oh my goodness, it is so eye-opening, and it makes you come back with a greater appreciation of what's going on around you. When we stay stuck in what we think we know, and when we stay stuck in the bubble of, well, it's so funny. So many people are roaming around in guppy ponds thinking they're kingfish when they're really in guppy ponds. There's a wide, wide ocean out here of different cultures and a variety of people. Why aren't we getting to learn and know them? Let me see, because I'm waiting for Pastor Waller to come in. Willie from Winfield, are you there?
Yes, I am, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and congratulations on your 1-year anniversary with WURD.
Thank you, sir.
are, every time I listen to your program, it is full of information, and you really, really bring truth to power. I'd like to make a proposal, because I know that you are in a powerful space and you speak truth to power. With our crime epidemic here in the city of Philadelphia, I've been giving this some thought, and I know that you have the power on WURD, as well as your connections with the Philadelphia Sunday Sun and the Philadelphia Tribune. With our crime epidemic, I would think it would behoove the black press to come together and to publish every day, not only WURD, but also this Philadelphia Sunday Sun and the Philadelphia Tribune, to come together and put a story every day on who was shot, how many homicides there are in Philadelphia, how many homicides that have not been solved, because from my understanding, there are 60% homicides that go unsolved, unresolved, and if the black press became united with the WURD and the Philadelphia Sunday Sun and the Philadelphia Tribune and perhaps WDAS, that this will put more pressure on City Council. This will put more pressure on Governor Wolf. This will put more pressure on the mayor. That by doing that, having a story every day in those black press publications and on radio, noting the number of homicides and shootings, that perhaps this would bring about more pressure, and we would come together as a community, but we would also bring down the shootings and the homicides that continue to plague our neighborhoods. A lot of this is due to the pandemic, but a lot of it is due to drugs, and a lot of it is due to, and the root cause of it is due to poverty. And I just want to say that the show that Dr. Henry Louis Gates has on PBS, that has been a great show that has brought about new information, and really Dr. Haidt should really be ashamed of himself for not putting that information in front of high school students across the city, in high schools, to show that the racism and discrimination and institutional racism and concentrated poverty that this country has undergone. He deserves to, he needs to come down on his head, and he really needs to be put under pressure to bring this information to the children, and to bring some reforms, not only in the school district but across the city. And again, I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. You are an outstanding source. You are inspiration to our entire community, and thank you for your hard work. But really think about that proposal. That
I am. You just intrigued me. I am going to write now for the Philadelphia Sunday Sun, because that's who I write for. I will write a story every week now, and so I'm going to look for families who have been impacted by crime, and I will make sure that I follow through on that. Okay?
Thank you
for
very
giving
much.
me that idea.
You stay
You're quite
safe
welcome,
and
Mr. Williams.
continue the great work.
Thank you, sir. All right. Bye-bye. Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller is the senior pastor of the Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dr. Waller, are you there?
Hey, I am here. How are you?
I'm good. You left me hanging last week, sir. You know I look forward to my Tuesday conversations.
You know what? I'm sorry. I went bear hunting last week. And
You went,
so
excuse me?
I went bear hunting. I go hunting after Thanksgiving all the time. And I thought maybe I had told you, but
yes,
I
no,
didn't
you
get
didn't.
one. I didn't.
I was
get
just
one,
getting ready to
but,
say you didn't have to bring any deer meat back.
No. I had one deer tag and one bear tag. I was going to hit a bear or a deer. I didn't see any. I saw 3 chipmunks and 2 squirrels. So it
wasn't your time.
It wasn't my time. It was not my time.
So I'm glad you were able to get away for a little bit and decompress. I do understand that.
Absolutely.
So thank you. Thank you for being here today, though. So much has changed and shifted since we last talked 2 Tuesdays ago. Yesterday, I was literally almost frightened to watch Governor Wolf speak about how impacted the hospitals are. They're at capacity.
That's right.
Some of them are overflowing in Pennsylvania. And what he said that shook me more was this. Even if you do not have COVID-19, God forbid you get a stroke or a heart attack or something other sort of emergency. Exactly. Pastor Waller, what can we say to these folks? And I'm still out here. I came inside, full interest disclosure. I would ride my bicycle. People would ride by us with no mask on. They'd walk out and do the no mask on. And they're still fighting about the fact whether they should wear a mask or not with all these people dead. What can you tell the people?
I mean, we have to remember that we're talking about at least 2, if not 3 different issues.
Yes.
Number one, COVID for the majority of us is just a bad flu event. But for a small but significant number of us, it is going to be a hospital event.
Yes.
And we are overrunning our hospitals. And because of that, that means even if you don't get COVID, but you have some other issue, if all the ICU beds are going to COVID persons, that means it can't go to your grandmother for her heart attack or your grandfather or for you for your complications from whatever. This is a real issue that we're dealing with, and people need to remember that it's easy to deal with if we mitigate. The other side of that is this conversation about the vaccine has many people thinking we're almost out of this, and we are nowhere near out of it. We need to be prepared to have to live as we are living now for the next 6 months at least.
Yes.
And we have to help people understand that this thing is real. I just got a call this morning from one of our church members whose brother is not old and not sickly, but in the hospital from COVID. This thing, we still don't know why. For some, it's a non-lethal event, and for others, it is potentially death. And because we don't know how it's going to impact you, you have to act as if you are going to get sick and die.
Yes.
And people who are dealing irresponsibly, we may have to get to where if you don't wear a mask and you walk into a crowded room, that you could be arrested for attempted homicide.
Yeah, I asked Dr. Levin that right after the summer ended, and I need to get her back on the air with me. And I said, is there going to be something to hold people accountable? I really think, and this is just Andrea talking, we're being too nice about this, right? While people are dying. I read an article and saw a news report that the vaccine makers, Pfizer specifically, is saying, look, this vaccine will not work if we don't get the virus first under control, right?
That's right.
So all of that is a part of the problem.
That's right. So it doesn't matter. The day after you get the vaccine, you're still going to have to social distance. That's what people don't understand. It is not a cure-all panacea. It is, at best, it's a therapeutic. And I think we need to recognize that if we don't change our behavior, there is no drug, there is no shot that's going to fix it for us. This is a moment in time where we have to change how we understand life and how we understand repairing to people, how we understand going in buildings, how we understand coming out of our house, how we understand dealing with each other.
And until we start acting that way, we're not going to get out of this. And for at least another 6 months, we're going to have to live as if there is a death threat outside of your house every time you walk out.
You know what I heard from someone who was in policy making at Yale University, Karen Robinson. She called in yesterday, and she said, listen, and the CDC experts are backing this up, at least for the next year. You're being so kind with the 6 months, right?
Yeah,
at least for the next year, we have to do something differently to make sure that people understand what is happening out here with us.
That's right. Well, you know, Live Nation, they're not booking anything until 2022.
Wow.
And they said that last year.
Yep.
So I think the people who are really in the cloud business probably do some stuff that we didn't know, and they knew it early because you talk about money. And the reality is we have so ruined this whole conversation with political speak.
Yes.
That's the real problem. That our national response from the very beginning has so tainted it that there are very few voices that you can trust.
Yes.
And even when it comes down to getting this vaccine, I'm not sure that I have met the voice that I trust to tell me about this vaccine.
There you go, because Dr. Ayla, when I last spoke to her, said, listen, I'm a little, I'm not sure, you know.
I'm not
and
sure
when
either.
Go ahead,
I
Pastor
agree.
Bob.
No, I agree. And I mean, I'm one of those that I got to be real careful because I am a leader. There are lots of people who watch my activities, so I'm not going to say anything without having knowledge.
Right.
But I've always been concerned about vaccines. I was concerned for my daughters when, you know, everybody was giving the girls the vaccines for HPV and all of that. And quite frankly, we chose not to do that. And I'm grateful that we didn't. I think we have a generation of young people who have interesting challenges with sustaining pregnancies that I'm not so sure is not connected to that. And so we've got to have a lot more information, and I hope that you will on your show. I know we will at our church. We're going to be bringing in medical professionals to talk to us that are disconnected from the political, because we have so ruined the national conversation. It's even been proven, you know, with Dr. Fauci. I wanted to like him, but when he was talking about the mask, everything we've heard about masks and that we've heard about testing came out of a deficit of not enough masks and not enough tests, not the pure science. It was given to us based on how many masks and how many tests there were. And I wish we could get to the place where we, you know, everybody talks about the separation of church and state. We might be in need of separation of hospital and state so that we can get some pure scientists to talk to us without the political.
Right. You're breaking up, Pastor Waller. I want to make sure people hear you clearly.
Are you there?
Here is I am here. Here is the other thought that people are not seeming to get. People think that if they already had the virus, that they have the antibodies. But Karen, who was a part of, again, policy at Yale University, said that there are people who had the virus, had the antibodies in their system. The antibodies wore off. This virus is dangerous. Antibodies wore off, and they got the virus again. And so there's this, you know, we're so you know, well, I got it, and so I'm going to be okay. And then there are quite a few people, I'm talking thousands of people, who got the virus and are still having long-term effects from it, right?
That's exactly
so there's so much we don't know, sir, so much.
I am in a study because I did have the virus. I am in a study. I've had antibody testing for my 6 months and for 3 months and 6 months. I do still have the antibodies, but only 85% of the people tested at the same time as I was at 6 months had the antibodies. It means in some people they wear off. So that's the thing we need to remember. And once you don't have the antibodies, you can catch it again. So that's one piece, and they don't know why certain people have it. Now, what I have noticed, and you can hear it in my voice now, since I had this, I had no problem. However, I get hoarse any given time, and I don't feel bad. I don't have any issues, but just every now and then I start to sound like I'm 70 years old. Wow. And I'm like, where'd this come from? And it started after I had the virus. Right. Now, being a speaker and a singer, that freaks me out every time it hits.
Right, right.
And I cannot explain anything other than I had the virus, and one of the lingering effects is that. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a deep thing. You know, I'm alive, and I'm not feeling bad, and I don't want to equate my hoarse voice with anyone's loss, so please don't hear that. But for me, that's a little heavy, and it just speaks to all that we don't know.
Right.
And that's why everybody has to be careful right in through here.
Yeah, I got you. What is happening at Enon now that people need to be aware of? We're still giving food. We're still doing testing. What's happening there now?
Yeah, well, we're still making ourselves available to the rounds with Ayla, and when she needs to come to Enon, she does. We still have the food on Monday through Thursday from 10 to 12. We're there. These are the non-perishable food items, and we're continuing to do service and Bible study. So we're doing the same thing that we have been doing and will continue until we get through this. You know, now we're getting into the holidays, of course, so we do have a special Christmas Eve thing that's going to be online and New Year's Eve thing that's going to be online. But that's basically what we are doing. We're doing what we have been doing until we can do something different.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We have to keep talking. If you locate scientists that are willing to come on and talk to us about the efficacy of this vaccine, so that we know what we have to look forward to, because I feel like we're in the 10th plague right about now. And while we, you know, so many more people are going to die, so we have to figure this out. Thank you so much, Pastor Waller. Have a good one, okay?
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless you too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, now, listen, lots going on out here. Prince, I see that you're on the line. And so and I know Woody called in. Woody, please call back. I have a little bit of time to talk to the both of you. Want to buy black for the holidays? We've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Just one more step. You got it.
You're doing great. This is the sound of a nationally ranked top rehabilitation hospital, home to the largest collection of robotics in the United States, where we continually exceed patient expectations, because no injury is too severe or too minor for our care.
There you go.
This is the sound of success. Moss Rehab. Challenge accepted.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. We breathe every day and have been doing so since before we were born. But wait, let's think about this for a moment. Something as simple as breathing can enhance our health and well-being. When we breathe mindfully, we slow down, take deep breaths, and activate our parasympathetic system to relax our bodies. Mindful breathing goes like this. Number 1, find a comfortable place to sit still for a few minutes. Number 2, close your eyes and relax your hands on your thighs. Number 3, take a deep breath in and count to 3. Then exhale your breath and count to 3. Do this 5 times. We sometimes think mindful breathing has to be an intense experience, yet even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I had a conversation with the Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller. Excuse me. We're doing a COVID update and what's happening in the Philadelphia area and beyond, and what that means for us in terms of a vaccine that's coming down the pike. And just because a vaccine is here does not mean that we can just run on out here and continue to do what we're doing. I want to get out on the road just like anybody else. But I'm telling you, the longer we keep this up, the more it looks like 2021 is also a wash. Can we stop with the foolishness? Prince, how are you, sir?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here.
I know that's right. You there and I'm here. So as long as you are there, we're going to be here, you know.
Yes,
so,
sir.
I think we're missing such a big picture here. And I want you to try to see it from what I'm about to explain. I don't know Pastor Waller. I know of him. But I don't see him in my hood. I don't see him in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? I'm not coming to his church. You know what I mean? So there's no relationship between what he's telling everybody we should do and us doing it. And I know everybody's doing it, but on weekends, I know groups of people who get together regardless of this pandemic and stuff like that. And so every individual has to take his own responsibility doing this. But what I'm saying is I don't know Woody. I know of Woody. But, younger people are tired of older people who have made their money off of our community and rather he, his church or the barbershop, whatever, whereas they can't get together and bring us all in. So a Prince would know Woody or a Prince would know Pastor Waller, and we can all go back and disseminate this information on a level of trust. You don't trust. We need a level of trust. Stop talking at me and talk to me. I don't trust you because I don't know you. And so stop telling me what to do like you have some authority to do that. And so what I'm asking is that, like, you bring everybody together. You got different ages and different parts of the city and different people coming on your show, voicing their opinion and having a relationship. Some of these people who we thought, all right, leaders, I don't know. All I know about Pastor Wallace is that he's some of the leaders in the Northwest. So what I'm saying is I don't know him well enough to deal with him for him to articulate and tell me what to do when it comes to COVID. But
so who could we trust then? Give me a solution. Who could, if you think Pastor Waller is not, because there are people who love him, right? That listen to every word that comes out of his mouth. So who else could we add in addition to Pastor Waller? Who else could we add to this that folks would listen to?
I'm not saying who else. I'm saying that Woody and Waller should get together with people or invite us in so we can help support their work in our neighborhoods and our side of town. I know people love him. I don't dislove him. I don't know him. That's what I'm saying. Right. And so when you go to Southwest Philadelphia, people in Southwest listen to this station, but they may not know Pastor Waller. Right. And I'm saying don't create the forum where you're saying, come to my mansion and let me talk to you and let me feed you and come to my housing development and talk to me. You know what I mean? Don't invite me to your mansion. You've been getting a paycheck. You know what I mean? I know people who go from oodles and noodles to steak. So what I'm saying is, who do we put in place to galvanize everybody so we don't get the conversation from our Caucasian parts, the same people who sold us the swine flu virus, the same people who did the Tuskegee experiment on us? Give us something that we can hang our hat on and look you in the eyes when this stuff don't work and hold you accountable. That's all I'm asking. Because everybody want to tell African Americans what to do, and if it don't pan out for us, who do we hold accountable?
Right. Okay.
Isn't that fair, though? Isn't that fair?
Yes.
Who do we hold accountable? Who do we hold accountable? So I'm not denigrating the man. I'm not saying anything against them. What I'm asking is that, I don't want to go to Woody's barbershop. I don't want to go to Waller's big church. I want to go somewhere where the hood guys can go, and y'all come and meet us where we are, and then let's talk about how we can get your message to our neighborhood because we trust you. Because the Black Consortium doctors, they should have started in low-income housing. Nobody decided that they was going to test people in public housing. And there's more people congregating on a regular basis there than any group anywhere else.
So are you telling me that no one has been to the low-income housing yet?
I'm saying it wasn't a priority when they started testing.
Okay.
And they've made places that we can go. But don't you think that, universities and dormitories and concentrated areas of people, you was able to shut them down. But you can't shut down public housing. So what I'm saying is, come to us and help us in a way where, we see the totality of this situation, but you still giving people options because you hadn't come to them and helped them at the very beginning. And so now you're going to come to us and say, here, take the virus, when we didn't even get to test it.
Right, got you. You mean take the vaccine when they didn't even get to test it?
Take the vaccine when you didn't get tested. And so that's oxymoron, to take something that you don't know if you're asymptomatic or even if you have it. All I'm saying is that there needs to be a better line of communication so we, not the TV, but so we can trust the person behind the mic that we know they got our best interest.
Okay.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You gave me food for thought. You have a good one too, sir. All right. Bye-bye. Glenn, are you there? Glenn?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, and I hate to say this, but I don't trust neither one of them. I don't trust Pastor Waller, and I don't trust any of these politicians out here, and I'll tell you why. Because they're telling thousands and thousands of black people to go out and get tested, and they don't even know the accuracy of the test. Pastor Waller, he told thousands of people come up to his church and get tested, and he messed around and got tested and came up positive, and then after a week or two, he wanted to be tested out. That's number one. Okay? Number two, right? The virus, if you go on the CDC's website, you'll find out that the virus has a recovery rate of between 94 to 97% or higher. It has a recovery rate, and that's without a vaccine.
When is the last time you saw that? Because that is now dropping. That number is dropping. Thousands of people are still sick.
Well,
Months later.
Let me finish with it. It was 94 to 97, and that was last week. Okay? That was last week, and now they come up with a virus, and it's an all-out advertisement for the black community to come get this vaccine, the black and brown community. Now, if you look at Cuomo up in New York, up in New York, in Brooklyn, there's a million, there was so many Jews, Orthodox Jews, that got tested positive. But what did Cuomo do? He went into a black church, and he told them they were going to be tested first. They were going to receive the vaccination first, black and brown people. He never went in the synagogues, but he went after black people, okay? So I don't trust neither one of them, especially Vincent Hughes, who is doing the same thing, telling people to get tested, get tested, get tested.
So here's the thing that I'm going to say to you, and I think you and I have spoken several times. If you don't want to get tested, then don't get tested. People are going, as you can see in these United States of America, people are making up their own minds and doing what they want to do. And some people are dying, some people are staying alive. It's totally up to you at this point. We're just telling you that we are in the middle of a pandemic. It is very difficult. The nurses and doctors are seeing some horrible things. They're not making up the stuff that's in the hospital. They're not making up the fact that those hospital beds are filled with very sick people. So you get to decide as an individual what you want to do, right?
Well,
but also know, no decision that we make comes without a consequence. So it's up to you. They can't force you to do what you don't want to do.
I don't believe in all that fear-mongering. I think that people should look at mega doses of vitamin C. When this thing first started out, it was a doctor that was treating people with high doses of vitamin C intravenously, and the feds came in and shut him down. Vitamin C is very, very effective intravenously, and I think that people should go look up whatever doctors are delivering it intravenously and look that up and go see them.
All right. Thank you so much, Glenn, for calling in. I appreciate you, okay?
All right.
All right. Bye, honey. Cliff, are you there?
Both of your callers make some very good points, and this is a critical issue in the black community, whether we should take the vaccine or not. And the Pastor Wallace, Enoch Baptist Church, correct? And I'm in Connecticut, and I can see that the pastor is doing some good things, but to the caller's point, there are some pastors that are not. And so, matter of fact, you don't have unity amongst the black churches. So there are other pastors that are going against Pastor Wallace. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, the callers make some good points in terms of our leadership, but we need the divine intervention by God to our pastors to lead us in the right direction. And if it means that we go back to maybe building up our immune system, rejecting the so-called vaccine from these organizations, particularly under warp speed, some out of Star Trek, coming from this president. But if it means that we can refer to not only, let me say this too. You got the Nation of Islam, and you have a division in which they might have a solution. Alpha interferon, if I'm not mistaken. So let's be open and accept, in addition to that, our own African tradition in terms of medicine. Let's not be closed-minded to that as well. Does that make a little bit of sense?
Let me ask you this, Cliff, because I have like 2 minutes before I have to, maybe a minute. Mike is about to shut me down. President Barack Obama came online and said that he is going to make sure that he takes the vaccine when it comes out, and that he sees that there's an efficacy of it and that it works, so that as a leader he can show folks that this is not something for black and brown people to be afraid of. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I can say, sister, listen, Pfizer, let's take Pfizer. Okay, Pfizer is the pharmaceutical company, right? They can have a batch that they make and create that's good for the white section of Philadelphia, but then you can have one individual that can tank another batch going into the black or the south end of Philadelphia. So there's always that room for manipulation and deceit, because keep in mind, they're trying to kill and depopulate God's chosen people, which are black people. So let's
Cliff, don't hang up, because you're talking. Don't hang up. Let me take a quick break, because I want to come back to this. What you're talking about, and what the last 2 or 3 callers are talking about, is because it's a direct result of the way black people have been treated in the medical system for ages, and this is why we're in the place where we are now. Hold on 1 second. Don't hang up, okay? You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Come smile with Champion Dentistry, the house of smiles. Champion Dentistry has been helping to create, maintain, and accentuate healthy, beautiful smiles for over 30 years. Come have your teeth, gums, and smile checked out with the WURD Cleaning Special. Call now at 215-473-4717 to get your Champion smile, or visit them at 1170 North 63rd Street.
Have you heard about City Council's plan to build more affordable housing, repair existing homes, create jobs, and support small business? The Neighborhood Preservation Initiative will invest $400 million in Philly communities. Read about it at www.phlcouncil.com/NPI.
Want to buy black for the holidays? WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit WURDradio.com/marketplace or WURDworks.com/marketplace.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager. And Tony Staten Staten, Executive Director of Lesset.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight. This program is pre-recorded. No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. WURDradio.com.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Okay, we're in a really hot topic. I'm probably going to need a drink when this show is over, but we're going to keep talking about it. Cliff, are you there?
No, this is Sister Green. Yes, I am. Listen, I'm going to say this, is that I would prefer, personally, now I don't even take the flu shot based on that same reason. Yes. I don't do it. So even though I have family members, they encourage me and egg me on, and, in terms of taking it, sometimes it's mandated, but I refuse to take it just for that reason. Now, let me say this. I would prefer to have information coming from our HBCUs, our black people in our black universities. I would rather take that and embrace that first before I even entertain anything coming from Pfizer or under this FDC, the Federal Food and Drug Administration.
So what you just did was give me a solution, right? So if I can get scientists from the HBCUs to come on here and have a dialogue with the listening audience, because again, it matters. It matters who we put in front of the listening audience. I just texted the technical producer. He was like, I ain't doing it either. So I asked him, I said, how many more people feel the way you do? No matter what's going on out here, there's lots and lots of people who are not going to take this vaccine. What does that mean for us?
But let me say this, though. Now, Chicago, you had a bunch of preachers, to the caller's point, at a press conference indicating and saying that they insist that they be treated first with the vaccine.
I saw that. Yes, Cliff, I saw that too. So there's all these mixed messages.
You're talking about the people that's confused. This is a life-threatening. So I'm saying, what is God telling us? Open up our minds and listen to what God is telling us. The God that we trust ain't going to mislead us. So let's get in touch with our God, with our Creator, and to be diligent and not and fear God and not the white man. And I hate to sound, and I'm not prejudiced or I'm not racist, but we are God's people. God's going to lead us through this. We just got to have the faith and be vigilant, in terms of listening and being there for God and our people. Let's do that. But in the meantime, we still have to deal with those who are misleading us, even in our own community. So God would give us that discernment where we can differentiate between the two. Does that make a little bit of sense, sister?
Yes, it does. It does. And it's very important to me to listen to all of you, listen to all your perspectives, because I'm not going to dismiss anybody out of hand. What might make sense to one person may not make sense to the other, and I want you all to feel like you're being heard. Thank you, though, because you just opened up a line of conversation that I'm thinking a lot of people are not going to want to have, but we got to go there. Thank you so much, okay? All right. Let me take Don quickly, and then I'll take Nikki Bagby. Don, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What can I do for you?
I just want to ask people to be reasonable. Think about this. Polio, smallpox, malaria, chickenpox, and many of the other diseases that were running rampant, not only in the United States but worldwide, were eliminated because of vaccines. Nobody separated the black from the white, even in places like Africa where malaria was killing more people than any other continent. It was almost completely wiped out from vaccines. I grew up 73 years old. I had polio vaccine. I had chickenpox vaccine. I had measles vaccine. I get the flu shot, and no white person is saying when he's black, let's give him a tainted dose of the virus. Can you imagine that if you're a healthcare worker and you're told when white people come to get the vaccine, you give them the good vaccine, but if black people come up, you give them the bad? It's ridiculous, but people are so immersed in these conspiracy theories that I don't think they think rationally, and I don't mean to be cruel. But
No, I'm listening to you, Don. I'm hearing you too, because I'm hearing it from either side. And so what I'd like to do is get experts on here of color that can have this conversation in a way that people can listen to. They're going to make up their mind what they're going to do and how they want to do this. But there are quite a few people who have been, and so it's what you're seeing is generational trauma too, right? People are being told by their family members that this is what happened with the Tuskegee experiment. These are all, and so there's some folks, no matter what you say or do, will not do this, right? And so that's why I think President Barack Obama is coming out saying, well, I'm going to do it, and hopefully that'll spur more people on to do it. But Lord have mercy, we're in a pickle. We are. Yeah. So let's figure out. And again, I said to a friend of mine yesterday, Don, this is how we're going to separate the wheat from the tares, right? Some people are going to live through this. Some people are not going to live through this. And so only experience will tell us which one of us was on the right side of this thing. I am not saying that I'm taking a vaccine because, again, until they prove that the efficacy of this thing, that it's really working. There's an African-American girl and her mother, I believe it's in Atlanta, Georgia, who are part of the test. But they don't know if they supposedly got the vaccine, but they don't know if they got a placebo or if they actually got the vaccine. So they have these test groups of people out here. Her mother had no reaction to her quote-unquote vaccine. The young girl who was 16 had some reaction, right? So let's see. People are testing all over the place. But I agree with you. We have to pay attention. But I also don't want to dismiss people out of hand because there's a reason why they're thinking and feeling the way that they do. Do we have some conspiracy theories that just don't make a lick of sense? Yes. Father God, I can't deal. And so it takes everything in me. And my husband knows. He just texted me and was like, you're going to be all right. Hold on. But there are times when, I hear people talking and you want to make sure that you hear them, fully hear them, so that you can give them the information that they need to make the decisions that they need to move forward, right? Forward. That makes sense?
That's right. That makes
All
sense.
right. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good one, okay?
All right. You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lord, you all are trying to kill Martha up in here. Nikki Bagby is a proud wife and mother of 6, 1 child and 5 adult children. She was born in and resides in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She's currently the marketing manager for a public health organization in Pennsylvania. She's also the president and founder of A Humbled Heart, and she has been a resident of Philadelphia for her entire 47 years. Nikki, are you there?
I'm here. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loudly and clearly.
Okay,
Thank you, my love. How are you?
I'm good. I'm on my 40 great year now. 40 great year.
Okay. All right. Proud of you. And you spent your entire time in Philadelphia.
Yes, I have. I just want to thank you so much, beautiful queen, for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful space that you have to bring knowledge and empower and enlighten people with your beauty inwardly and outwardly. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So to what do we owe the pleasure today? I see you have the Celebrating the Joy of Giving. Tell me about that on Friday, December 11th.
Yes, I've been doing a giveaway celebration ever since the Lord put it on my heart about 18 years ago. We have supported over 60,000 individuals during that time. Normally, we have several holiday celebrations around the greater Philadelphia area, but because of the pandemic, we're going to condense it. On Friday, the 11th, from 12 to 4 p.m. on Nicetown CDC's parking lot, under a heated tent, we will be distributing toys and gifts and food and necessary items for family. We did not want to deprive children of gifts, so we just found a way of doing it where we can be very mindful of the stipulations that are in place and that we are in the midst of a pandemic. So we're going to set up tables where people can get boxes of food. They can get a gift bag that will house a child's toy per bag. If you have 5 children, you're going to get 5 bags per household, however many children are there. They're going to get some PPE because people can't always afford the mask, as well as hand sanitizers and some other gifts and stock. So we're excited. We have some phenomenal sponsors coming on tonight: Sixers, the NFL Alumni Association, Senator Street, Clear Channel, Outdoor. We have a lot of folks that we've just wrapped around over the years.
Yes. This is some good stuff. This is when I wish this virus wasn't running as rampant, I would be out there doing a live. I would have been out there with you doing a live broadcast.
Yes.
This is the kind of stuff that I'd like to see and hear.
So we're going to make sure we're mindful. We have a tent that is 40 by 20.
Okay.
And we're only going to allow 10 people at a time inside of the tent. It is not going to be a time to be entertained, be sitting out in the cold. We want folks to come in and go out because, again, it is mindful. That's why we did not want to be inside. But because, again, I am in the healthcare industry, I also want to be aware that African-American communities have some of the highest COVID rates as well as the highest hospitalization rate, and we don't always have accessibility testing. So we will work with a provider, Family Practice and Counseling Network, that will be providing on-site COVID screenings as well.
Okay, so Nikki, you heard the callers that called in before you got on, correct?
Yes.
And you are hearing that there are people who are feeling like this is all a hoax. Some folks, not everybody. Some folks feel like this virus is a hoax, that it was set up. Let me just say this: one person thought the virus was a hoax. And then there are others who feel like they really don't want to take the vaccine because of all the history that has come along with Black folks. As a healthcare provider, can you tell folks what you're seeing in the hospitals right now?
Okay, so I will say I'm not an in-hospital healthcare provider.
Okay.
I'm a person that really kind of brings educational information, and we kind of connect healthcare providers with community like we're doing at the event. We just did a huge event in Chester, so we're finding that the numbers are very high, that there are a lot of people that are asymptomatic that may not always know that they have certain our carriers. We're also seeing that people are still gathering in churches. And I'm not, let me put a disclaimer before I get a whole bunch of emails. Okay?
All right. Listen.
I just need to put a disclaimer in because I'm not wearing my healthcare hat. I'm wearing my community outreach hat. I just want that disclaimer too. Okay. What I've seen personally, I see that people are not adhering to the stipulations. I see people that are not that are walking around as if they can't get this virus. I see people that are not always being mindful, but there are people that are being cautious, right? But there are not enough tests being administered, or if they are tests, a lot of people don't think, okay, I don't have any symptoms, I shouldn't go. So we see a lot of numbers, and it is getting very close. I don't know if people have paid attention to it, but in the last 2 weeks, a lot of more people that you know now have this, are being combated with COVID, but we just came out of the holiday season. So when people are saying not to be, this is why our event is outdoor. This is why all of our folks have to wear shields. They have to wear masks, and they cannot be in a certain seat of people. That's why people are going to grab their stuff on the table and go.
And roll out. Right. Give me the address for where this thing is going to be on Friday, please.
Yes, we're going to be at Nicetown Court parking lot at 4340 Germantown Avenue. We will be off in the backside, which is off of Germantown and Denny Street. You will see a big tent out there. You can't miss it. And we will also, again, have a provider giving COVID testing. Yes, it's going to be easy. It's not going to take all day. The COVID testing is something that I will continue to do wherever I'm at because we need people to know that they have or do not have this, and we need the people that continuously get. And you can't get one COVID screening back 9 months ago and think you should not get tested again.
Right. And especially if you put yourself with other people, it's very, it's hard to explain to people what this means because we as a community have a lot of the comorbidities, and I keep talking about them. I use myself as a guinea pig. I have friends who were diagnosed with diabetes who said, I cannot believe you told the whole diggity dang world that you were diagnosed with diabetes. I don't want anybody to know that I have it. That's not the thing. What we go through is not about us, right? It's about sharing the information. So I held myself accountable by sharing with everybody that I was diagnosed and then went about the business of changing my diet and getting to exercise, right? Which has helped a lot of people. We because of our comorbidities, I cannot afford to take the risk of playing Russian roulette with my life, my husband's life. We are quote unquote considered elderly. Even though I just don't look like that. Listen.
Well, you need to bottle elderly up and sell it. You need to bottle it up and sell it then.
Listen, honey, I've got the Benjamin Buttons disease over here. One day I'll tell you all the story about how people thought I was in my 20s and my husband had robbed my cradle. So funny. I had to pull out my driver's license. They were like, "Yo, you are not that. I am that age. Just don't let my face. This black. I got an extra dose of melanin over here on this face of mine."
I tell people I am black. Look at this.
Listen.
I'm 94% African. I took my DNA. It's in the DNA.
Did you?
So y'all work it out. Yes.
94%.
Three generations. Yes, we found that out. So,
So you black. All right. So listen.
Yes, that's what I'm black. So going to that path, you say, I have dedicated my life to kind of center around health disparities. I'm going to give y'all some information really quick before we get off of here. Black men lose their limbs more than any race in this state right now, right? So in all three zip codes, because it changes all the time, are right here in the city of Philadelphia. So I work with a lot of organizations who come to neighborhoods and simply talk to. We did a wonderful event last year with the Kappas, and during their conclave we came out and we had a doctor. We had some black nurses from Chi Etna Pi, who are all black nurses, come out and do screening. Black women lose their babies and their lives due to pregnancy more than any other race. So I make it my life, because I was a mom that almost died in pregnancy, right? So I make it my life. We have to educate people. We don't ask the right questions. Yes. We don't do the right thing. And I'm going to tell y'all black men, again, it's a disclaimer. I'm talking about what I know. It's like pulling teeth to get y'all in the doctor. But you're losing your limbs, and you're trying to figure out at the end of the day what happened. Education is key. So I have dedicated my life to making sure I'm healthy, because I'm getting healthy, y'all. Got to get it right. I'm with you, darling. And also, I am working very hard to educate people, because we just don't know. So you're right. Everything you say, you're absolutely right. It's about education, and it's about breaking those generational curses, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take you to church for a minute. We want to sit up there on church, on our knees, at the altar with the oil poured on our forehead and our ankles, talking about I got diabetes and sugar, but we get up off the altar and we do the same thing. And we don't want to talk about the scripture when they're talking about gluttony.
Come on. Now, see, you all gone all up in the situation. Now you're going to get mother. Listen to me, Nikki. Listen. A conversation. I said, ooh. Now, see, you done went on all over there. Now, see, Nikki. Now, see. Because you're speaking the absolute truth. And there are people who will take the medication and not change their eating patterns. You cannot have a huge chunk of cake, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, and everything got sugar in it. Everything and then the amount that we eat, right? So let's say you want to eat that stuff. Eat a smaller portion of it, drink a ton of water, and stop eating by a certain point at night. We're not trying to take the food out of your mouth. We're trying to save your life. You're right. With the limbs, folks are losing their limbs more than anything else. Doctors tell you, if you feel the tingling in your toes, if make sure you get. Some people don't have the health care, but there's certain things that you can do to mitigate that. Eat more vegetables and instead of the starches. If you got to eat the starch, switch from white rice to brown rice. Have a spoonful of it and mix it with your vegetables so you don't feel like you're depriving yourself. Like, these are conversations I'm constantly having with people, right?
Yeah. And we gotta walk down the spiritual. We gotta walk down the spiritual path, because I am a prophet. I'm gonna tell you what it is. We also don't know how to. We want to pray about generational curses, about Lord, we have the generational curse about anger, but we won't talk about this generational curse about this fat gene, right? We talk about we want to pray all over certain things, but when it comes close to us, and we don't want to pray about self-control, right? We want to pray about Lord, I need this house, right? But we don't want to take care of the money that, girl, I can be here all day.
Listen, so guess what? Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. Before you get to your point, inbox me as soon as we get off this show. You and I go, no, because Marvel, I need a 1 hour show where I can really sit down and have this long-term conversation with you as it applies to our people, because we play around too much, right? And you're right. We let's pray it all away. You cannot pray stress and anger and bad eating habits and comorbidities away. It's something that runs in your family, yes, but don't just sit and say, well, it runs in my family, so I'm just going to sit around and just let it take over for me. How many
But
more
we're not
times are we
even
going to...
praying about it. We're not praying about self-control. We're praying that I have the disease. And God is a miraculous God. He is. But the Bible says, so I continue to sin that grace may abound. God forbid. So, and I'm not judging anyone because I myself I'm a big woman, right?
Yes.
But I've learned through trial and error that I had to get half of my gallbladder out, right? And understand that yes, we're dealing with generations, because my generation, you can go three generations back. We all look alike. So somewhere along the line, I said, Lord, I need to pray that you break that curse, because now it's dwindled down to my own children. No, you can't eat what everybody eat, but we have to deal with it and go and strategically deal with it. And how about turning your plate about not turning your plate? But that's the whole other thing. I'm going to let y'all go, because I know they're going to follow me and they're going to inbox me and ask me who I am. And I'm going to say, go talk to Andrea, because she said
come talk to Mother.
I want.
Send them my way, Nikki. I'm not playing. I'm literally about the business of trying to save our lives. It's not about being cute. No, it's just not. It's not anymore, right? And so oftentimes when we go through things, it is not for us to sit around and moan and complain, but how are we learning the lessons from what we're going through and to help other people through it, right?
Yes,
Tell me again one more time about Friday, December the 11th.
Yes, we are going to celebrate our families. You must register. If you go on my page, Nikki Smith Bagby, I am the only one. You can send it to others who want to register. If you still want to donate, I have a donation thing set up, a fundraiser on there. Now, after Friday, here's the biggest news. We are going to take care of 10 families that have been devastated by COVID. We already have a mom whose son was murdered a year ago, and her son was shot yesterday. Another son. So we're going to, so y'all pray. We're going to wrap around families that have been devastated. We're going to go to their house, ring their doorbell, and leave some gifts from the Lord and some people for them so that they can get through in this season. So they will look at 2020 and say, God is still in it.
Yes.
So y'all hit me up. I'll go over to my page, and I would love to get support and help and continue to bless these families.
Thank you so much. So it's the Joy of Giving holiday event at eventbrite.com, right?
Yes.
So it's Joy of Giving holiday.eventbrite.com. Again, Joy of Giving holiday.eventbrite.com. You have to register so that when you show up, they know who you are. It will not cost you anything, but when you register, they'll know how many children you have. So when you slide through, they'll be able to give you what you want, and you can roll on out, right?
Yes,
Inbox Marva. We'll talk in a little bit. As soon as I get off the air, I'm calling you, okay?
Thank you, and thank you for being a blessing to the world. You are
you're quite welcome, my sister. You're quite welcome. Have a good one, all right?
You have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Step by Step Home Care Professionals is one of Philadelphia's fastest growing Black-owned home care employers, and they are hiring. If you are a caring, nurturing, and compassionate person who enjoys helping people in need, Step by Step Home Care Professionals is looking to hire you. Go to sbshome.care to complete an employment application. That's sbshome.care, or call 610-321-3108 for more information, and ask for Monet. Step by Step Home Care Professionals is hiring today.
Have you heard about City Council's plan to build more affordable housing, repair existing homes, create jobs, and support small business? The Neighborhood Preservation Initiative will invest $400 million in Philly communities. Read about it at www.phlcouncil.com/NPI.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app. Or watch live on Word TV via Facebook and YouTube. Word Radio. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on Word Radio. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. You all are talking up a mile a minute over on the Facebook page, and I have to figure out a way to see the comments because after a while they disappear, and I can't always get to them right away. But thank you all. I saw someone talking about vaccines in Africa, and I can't see it now, so I'm going to have to figure that out and get to that so I can respond to that. I think you better call Tyrone. Call him. Hey, Tyrone.
Hello, Mother Earth. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What can Mother do for you today?
Well, Mother, I can just thank you for trying to keep all of this confusion, and some perspective. It is truly amazing that in a situation like this, it's so, undefined and got, so many aspects of it that, people are just unsure about what to do. And, when we're dealing with the unknown, that's one thing that God keep us in perspective when he makes something that we can't figure out. Because one thing about man, anytime they figure out something, they put a dollar sign on it, and only those who got dollars can
get a sign.
But Mother, I just want to just relate this conversation to my conversation yesterday about, our young folks and how our millennials and our teenagers need to talk to, their little baby brothers and sisters, well, the little children and around them. Because, Mother, the reason that came up was because of the conversation with the two doctors that you had. But also, I do tutoring. And what I'm noticing is that the children who are working with the virtual learning, they're not writing stuff down, Mother. They hitting buttons. And they're not writing down. I got to constantly tell my great-grandbaby, you got to write some of that stuff down.
Right.
You can't keep looking and just hitting a button. Right. And that's why I thought that if the teenagers and the millennials tell their stories, because I'm telling you, these are some very, very difficult and challenging times for young people. And they need to write it down and try to figure it out so they can go back to what they wrote down last week to see how it impacts in this week. And again, it needs to happen because our children got to start reading and writing. They got to start reading and writing because just about the conversation today with this virus situation, you got to be able to have some thinking capacity as to how you're going to make a decision. And if you're not thinking and able to figure out stuff, then you're in trouble, Mother.
I hear you. Listen, you have no arguments from me at all, Tyrone. But we're working it out, right? We're going to work it out.
We're going to work it out.
It's been a year since I've been on the air here, and I have worked out a plan of how we're going to move forward. Because what I cannot do, what is intolerable to me, is that we keep talking about the same things over and over again, and we see no discernible change. It doesn't make sense, right? These platforms are too important for us to just keep doing that over and over. So we keep having people on, like this young cat. I'm looking at his picture now. Looks like one of my children. Nafis Norris, you know, I can't wait to talk to him. So as soon as I'm finished talking to the callers, the brilliance that is among us, and I'm looking at him, and it's like I'm looking at one of my children. Cannot wait to have this conversation. Nafis is in an accelerated program. He just got accepted into the master's program in the biopharmaceutical process engineering program at Thomas Jefferson University. What? You want to tell me that there's not brilliance among us? People like Nafis is who I love to talk to. So y'all get off the phone so I can talk to the brother, okay? Love you, Tyrone.
Mother, thank you. And, Mother, thank you for always looking at solutions. We need solutions. We don't need conversation.
Come
love
on.
You, Mother.
Thank you so much. Love you too, Tyrone. Have a good one, okay? All right. Bye-bye. All right, Woody, you're up next. What's up, honey?
Well, I know by the time I get up, I'm going to have to get right off because it's going to be time for a break. I always tell you that. But anyway, I'm not going to go on that one. I think you're on a good roll here. Heard a gentleman talking about Pastor Wilder, and he said something about my shop. Well, I guess I'm not a pastor or anything like that. You know, barbers were doctors originally, but your real doctors and scientists are the ones going to have to prove points. Now, I interviewed a young lady by the name of Dr. Suzanne Delamonte. She explained several things pertaining to issues of how drugs are made, and some of these drugs have an insensitivity to melanin. And in many cases, they don't work the same way on people melanized versus people that are not so melanized. So these are things that they already know in the drug industry, how they produce these things. Now, they were talking about Pfizer and all these others. There's several other drugs. If you remember, Donald Trump was talking about bringing the drugs before the year was out. This is what he was saying. But he also brought up, and I keep saying this, hopefully maybe you'll read that article one day, the letter to Donald Trump. He was not saying he did anything about it. First thing he said, African Americans, what do you got to worry about? You know, your schools are all messed up. You can't get money from your banks, and you're being gentrified out your neighborhoods. Those are the three things. If you stick to those things, education is going to clear up most of the problem you have, because then you'll be able to go to the bank and get what you need to get, and you'll be able to have the money from having the education to make that kind of money to stay in your neighborhood. Because right now they're throwing people out of the neighborhoods. Brother Tyrone was just on a second ago. He's one of my neighbors from the past neighborhood. I go through blocks and blocks and people that I remember, not even a house, one house in several blocks that you can't remember. That's not good, because it takes away from your childhood, and it takes away from you being able to explain to your children and your grandchildren what was. So what I'm saying to you, and to make it as simple as possible, this issue of education is number one. I would love you to read that article, Letter to Donald Trump, because that is the article. No, I'm talking about on the air. I would love you to do that so others can hear it. So the gentleman won't be able to call and say, hey, Woody, this and that and that. I'm telling people what to take. No, God, make your decision. Let God be the judge in your life, because all of us are individuals. So, no, I don't tell people what to do. I've been bringing information to people for years and years, but I'm not a person standing up on a pedestal. I'm one of those field Negroes, just like he's talking about. He's got me in the wrong position. I'm crying out for the field Negroes to be heard, because you know what? Most of them will not be heard because they didn't get the education. They didn't get the ability to ask the question. They, in many cases, can't fill out applications for a job. So that, to me, is the real point. So I would love to hear you read that so it could help clear up some of the people that are thinking that I'm up on this pedestal, because I'm definitely not.
All right. Thank you so much, Woody. We got you, man. It's all right. Bye-bye. All right, Sharon, quickly, because I want to get to this young man. How are you?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Yeah. I just needed to call you. I had to pull over the side of the road. I just come out of the store, and I turned the radio back on, and you were speaking with the young lady. I think you guys were talking about food and what you should eat and should not eat. And I was feeling a little down as I came out of that store. But I listened to you laugh and listened at her. My spirit went through the roof. I started laughing almost to the point of tears. And I thought to myself, I have to call her. I listen to all the shows on WURD. My radio station channel doesn't change. But you just, I don't care what the subject matter is. You know, sometimes it can be very toxic. Sometimes it can be lighthearted or whatever. But you have the gift, and I believe that's what it is. It's a gift to manage to be so super respectful to your audience and your guests. You don't allow people to talk over you or run over you. And you just have different perspectives for different callers. And to me, that is a gift. I love your program. I won't say show, because I don't believe with you it is a show. It's something from your heart, from your spirit. And there's no way anybody can thank you for that. But I as a listener, I just want you to know that it's what you do. You know, I don't.
Sharon, can I share something with you? Can I share something with you? I just realized that I have been on the air at WURD for about a year.
Uh-huh.
And there was no fanfare, no, oh my gosh, you've been here for a year, none of that. But my head was down, really making sure that we got you the excellent programming, that you heard all different kinds of perspectives, that we didn't just talk about what was wrong with Philadelphia, but that we could talk about what was right with Philadelphia, right? That we talked about the brilliance of us as a people, that we are smart, that I can't wait to talk to Nafis, right? That we can do anything we set our mind to. Yes, the challenges are there, but guess what, sis? When you go back into that market and you're trying to figure out what you want to eat, remember my face. Just remember Mother going, don't put that in your mouth. Don't put that in your mouth. And if you're going to put it in your mouth, eat just a little bit of it. I love my Jamaican food, Sharon. Listen, Mother wants a dumpling. I love fried dumplings. My sisters were laughing because I used to, when I was a little girl, I could eat a dozen fried dumplings and not think a thing about it. With diabetes, I have one fried dumpling, a whole bunch of vegetables, you know, and so I learned how to temper all of that. So you just made my entire day. Thank you so much, my sister.
Well, thank you. Well, no, thank you. All right, take care.
All right, sister. All right, bye-bye.
Bye now.
All right, bye-bye. Nafis Norris says he has been interested in science since he was 7 years old, but never thought my husband is going to want to meet Nafis. My husband is a robotics instructor, Nafis, so I'm letting you know before you get on the air, this is about to be a whole situation. He's probably going to text me until I'm going to just tell him to shut up. But never thought he could be a scientist because of the environment he grew up in. A Philadelphia native, is the first African-American student accepted into the master's program at the Biopharmaceutical Process Engineering program at Thomas Jefferson University. Nafis Norris is enrolled in the accelerated 12-month course study and is slated to graduate in 2021. Nafis Norris, good afternoon, sir.
How you doing? I'm getting yourself.
Woo! Listen, if COVID wasn't happening, you'd be in the studio and I'd be hugging the stuffing out of you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so stinking proud of you. Stinking proud of you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for having me on. I've been listening to the show for about a half hour now. And this is some really dope, good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. I
Thank
really appreciate you having me on.
Listen, Lord. So Nafis is going to talk to y'all because for those of you who think that children ain't smart, and no, I love young people. Love young people. It's going to be on my tombstone. She loved young people, right? So you're going to tell us today to highlight your recent achievements, but more importantly, encourage other students who aim to succeed despite their obstacles. Tell me about your love for science, Nafis. And we're going to stay on until 3 o'clock, so get yourself together. You and I are going to talk, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mother is so excited. You tell us about your love for science. How did you end up developing a love for science at the age of 7?
So everything I'm telling you, I'm being completely transparent and honest. This is not your traditional, I went to a summer science camp and, I fell, or one of my teachers. No, legitly, I was about 7 years old and in North Philadelphia, and there was an empty lot up the street on my block. And I remember we were studying ecology, pretty much studying plants and everything. I think it was first grade, and I was in there like literally studying weeds and dandelions. I was a kid that was always by myself, and I remember I cut my finger, and I just looked at, instead of like crying and running home and like grabbing a Band-Aid, I just looked at the blood just dripping down, and I'm like, that looked interesting. And I knew right then and there, I was like, okay, because I watched a lot of Dexter's Laboratory
Yes.
Like, Jimmy Neutron, these other scientists. And I noticed, and even the commercials, I noticed they all had one thing in common. None of them were black.
Children, yes.
And I was like, okay, so how can I do this? How can I get involved? And honestly, probably around age 8, 9, I was just like, yeah, this is not happening.
Wow.
And I just remember, going through a series of things, like what I wanted to do. I thought it was psychology. I thought it was this, that, and the third. And they tell you all the time, the funniest joke you can tell God is your plane, right? So I remember, there was a point in time where I was homeless in 2014 and, legit sleeping outside, sleeping at friends' houses, sleeping at my sister's house from time to time. And I remember I was like, I got to make a change. I got to do something different. And I remember working my job at McDonald's and quitting. And I applied for CCP, Community College of Philadelphia.
Oh.
And I remember I had negative $21.79 in my bank account. And I was like, I don't know how in the world I'm going to pay for this, but I'm going to just do it. And my prayer at that time was, God, help me and carry me. And he's done that ever since then. The story, trust me, I'm trying to expedite the story as much as I can because I'm not trying to hold anybody up. But I remember going to community college, and they recruited me for track and field while I was there. And they said, well, you have to declare for a major. And I was like, well, my personality, I gravitate towards the most challenging thing. Don't give me anything easy. Don't spoon feed me. Teach me how to fish. Don't give me a fish. Right? So I remember I was like, well, what's the hardest major here? And said, well, it's either nursing or biology. And I was like, I don't think I look good in scrubs. I'll just choose biology at this point. And it came by accident. And I didn't know what I wanted.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Didn't come by accident. It started when you had your first initial interest at 7. You thought it would not happen, but it came back full circle. Our life happens just the way it's supposed to, Nuffies.
Yes.
Just the way it's supposed to. Even though it looks like it's not happening at certain parts, certain intervals, right? Your story is so diggity dang intriguing to me. So intriguing. So you chose the hard thing, biology. Then what happened? Because you had negative $21 in your account. How did you figure out how to pay for this?
Fortunately, one of my coaches was able to get me a scholarship because CCP was only I believe it's like $6,000 a year.
Yes.
They were able to tell me where to apply for grants and here and there, and I actually won a writing scholarship. My grammar is terrible. Come to find out, I was the only one that entered. That's why I got
the only one that entered it. Yep.
But that's how I was able to pay for college the whole time. And then transferring to Newman University, where I did my undergrad work, it was mainly, grants and academic scholarships. And I was also an RA for a small period of time. So that took out a huge chunk of money. And also, I remember I worked 3 jobs while I was in school. I worked in the school gym. I had my internship. And I was a tutor, a statistics tutor. So
Listen, I need you to hold on, because when I tell you I could talk to you for an hour and a half, you are literally a case study of what is possible, right? And I tell people all the time, when we spoil our children and hand them everything that I'm from Jamaica, by the way, so you're about to hear a whole Jamaican perspective, right? When we spoil our children and hand them every single thing and not allow them, you shouldn't have had to gone through being homeless. That is the extreme case. But everybody that I have known that have had to really, life was just traumatic on certain levels, it instilled something in them to stand up and say, I don't want to ever live like this again. And so I'm going to do something with my life. You are a case study of what is possible. Hold on, sir. I'll be right back, okay? Hold on. Want to buy black for the holidays? We've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wurdradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Now, a Word Radio Vote Beat update. Here's Word Radio Vote Beat update reporter, Sojourner Ahebe.
I'm Sojourner Ahebe with today's election coverage report. Linda Hayden is 75 years old, and she's one of the 6 million African Americans who left the rural South in the advent of the Great Migration.
The first time I voted, I was 20 years old. Age was 18, but since I was black, I was not eligible to vote until 1965.
That is until she moved to Philadelphia in the early 60s and cast her first ballot in the city shortly before the passage of the Voting Rights Act. The year was 1964. She was 20 and remembers voting for Lyndon B. Johnson in that presidential election.
I was 16 years old when I left. I came to live with my sister.
With a child on the way, she dropped out of school to find work so she could support her family. Retired now, she worked for 25 years as a school bus driver, and she's one of the 500,000 adults in the city who struggle to read. Catalina Gonzalez is the Senior Manager of Adult Education Services in Philadelphia.
We know that over 500,000 ages 16 and over are struggling to perform basic reading, writing, and math skills.
That's more than a quarter of Philadelphia adults who struggle to read, but they still vote. Hayden has been voting for over 55 years.
I have voters' registration papers at my home. If I know you're turning 18, I make sure you register so you will be able to vote.
But the obstacles to voting when you have low literacy skills still abound. Marcus Hall is an instructor at the Community Learning Center, one of the many city agencies that provide educational resources to low literacy adults in Philadelphia.
Reading the instructions and getting and understanding like where to sign, what not to do, what not to put anything here, what type of ink to use, and like all that stuff absolutely takes a certain level of comprehension.
Hayden voted by mail this year and had her daughter help her fill out her ballot. Not everyone has that support, but City Commissioner Lisa Dealey says every voter in Pennsylvania has the right to request assistance, and ballot numbers in particular have been the saving grace for many voters who struggle to read.
You know, people oftentimes use the ballot number as a way to remember to identify the candidates that they choose to support and to vote for.
Philadelphia's poverty rate is double the national average, and research shows the link between low literacy, poverty, poor health, and likelihood of incarceration. In addition, more than half of Hall's adult learners are low income. A sizable portion were formerly incarcerated, and many of them struggle with homelessness. Despite the mounting obstacles, low literacy adults are beating the odds. Hayden enrolled in classes at the Community Learning Center 4 years ago at 71 years old. Now she's studying to get her GED. But she wants you to remember one thing.
I've always believed that voting was and is important. So anyone that's turning 18 this year, please register to vote.
In Philadelphia, Sojourner Ahebe, WURD Radio.
This was a Word Radio Vote Beat update, presented in partnership with VoteBeat. Keep your dial locked to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent, black media.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from Pico and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at pico.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
Jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio to connect Philadelphians to resources to help take the next steps in their professional lives. WordWorks.com features career readiness tools, entrepreneurship resources, funding opportunities, and events to expand your livelihood. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey.
Work, 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 work. You see me, I be work.
Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have on the line with me Nafis Norris, who is the first African-American student accepted into Thomas Jefferson University's Biopharmaceutical Engineering Master's Program. And I have to tell you, I'm glad I had a 4-minute break because I almost burst into tears. Nafis, I just almost fell out just listening to you. You were just, my husband texted me. He was like, okay, I can hear it in your voice. My entire life's mission has been young people.
Mm-hmm.
The efficacy of all of you, making sure that your voices are heard, that you get the same treatment, if not better, than the others that are around you. Every time we feel like there's one that has slipped through the cracks, that has not been enough feast, that gave up, because remember, they carried the same gifts and talents that you have, right? Just didn't have something snapped inside of them that allowed them to just give up completely. And so having a dialogue with you is not only heartwarming, you have become now a walking lesson of what is possible. You went to, what were your grades like when you started in CCB?
Terrible.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that to me. So how did you go from that to being the first one accepted into Thomas Jefferson's Biopharmaceutical Engineering Master's Program? How did you go from terrible to this?
Okay, so my advisor, I cannot remember her name. I remember she was a tall, dark-skinned woman with glasses, and she sat me down, and I had an F in algebra. And she told me, she said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to be in the sciences. I don't know exactly which career path I'm going to take, but I want to be in the sciences. And she said, you know, young man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you're cut out for the sciences. Like, you can't even get simple algebra correct. And I said, okay. So tell you what, I'm going to come back here in 4 years and slap my degree on your desk. And I walked out. I don't know if you can fire an advisor, but she was personally fired as my advisor academically. And I never seen an academic advisor, like, even through my college career. I'd probably seen one probably once or twice, but I did everything on my own. Because I was like, y'all, you know, I didn't want anybody discouraging me because that's all, like, the fuel that I needed to go.
Right. What advice would you have for academic advisors now? Because this happens a lot in schools, in high schools, and in colleges. What advice do you have? And I mean, she thought she was giving you sound advice, right? But what you probably realize now is that she spurned you into paying better attention to what you're doing, because she was not going to tell you that you were not going to do what you were supposed to do, right? So what advice do you have for academic advisors now?
Offer help first. Before you turn somebody away from their dream, offer encouragement, because I can't tell you how many times me and my black friends have went to an advisor and they all come back with the sad face. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's so discouraging walking into those offices versus, you know, other kids from other ethnicities, we all know, where they walk out the office and they get a tutor. They get, you know, they get options. They get, you know, oh, you can retake this class in the summer. Versus us, they're just immediately telling us, I think you should do this, that, and the third instead of this. This is not cut out for you, because everybody that has become great did not start off great. Like, you had to start with some type of trial or tribulation to get there. But my grades to college were not, and people think that I was a 4.0 student. No. I graduated undergrad, believe it or not, with a 2.8. And people think that I had this 4.0. If I had a 4.0 anywhere, it was in work ethic.
Right.
That's what I always tell people. Like, you know, and also networking. That's where my thing came in. I just remember cutting class, going to a seminar, and I asked the CEO of a company. His name is Reno Capital. He owns a biotech company in Doylestown. And I stood up. There was about 200 people there. I asked them for an internship straight up. And, like, on the mic and everything. And, you know, for some odd reason, got a standing ovation for that. And he gave me a job right on the spot.
Yep.
And that's why I really started to develop, like, oh, I really like this laboratory stuff. And then getting to Jefferson was, that was complete God. And I also want to say this over the air, that it's not only me that's gotten the program, but there are 2 other African-American women that have gotten in the program. I just want to acknowledge them. Their names is Mayetta Peck and also Chanel Robinson Hill. They work extremely hard every day. And, you know, these guys, you know, we even have our little prayer group, you know what I mean, like before exams and like lab practicals and stuff like that. So I just want to acknowledge them really quick. But getting into Jefferson, there was a good family mentor of mine, Miss Carla Green. And I remember, you know, I was going through some stuff, and she invited me to this rehearsal, and I was like, I'm not going. She prayed with me at 7 o'clock in the morning, and legit told me to get there, and then that's where I met Dr. Bartlivin. Dr. Cameron Bartlivin is actually a black scientist. He's also my professor. I've never seen, or like I've never met a black scientist in person. And wow. So for me, he was already a hero and somebody I can aspire to, you know, look up to and be like, you know, or, you know, even succeed one day. Yes. And I thought he was bringing me up for a tour to the lab. It ended up turning into an interview. Wow. And I was accepted right on the spot. Because, you know, people know, like, you know, I tell people to, you know, I wasn't a good test taker. But when I walked in there, I knew my stuff. You know what I mean? He was showing me this around the lab, and I knew things about chromatography and, you know, flow cytometry and everything like that. And, you know, I always tell people to study for the career, not the exam.
Yes. You know, Nafis, I'm sorry, son. I gotta hold on to you for a little while longer. You are, everything in me is jumping. Everything in me, you know, your integrity, your work ethic. These are things that we want to teach adults. There are adults out here who don't get that, right? They feel like it's all about them. It should just always be about them, and nobody else should have a side in the spotlight. You literally just highlighted the other 2 young ladies, Mayada Peel? Peck. That's my handwriting. Mayada Peck, and Chanel Robinson Hill, right?
Yes.
You didn't have to do that. Hold on, man. Don't hang up on Mubba. Mubba, I'll be right back. Hold on. The time is 2:56 and the temperature is 43 degrees. Sponsored by Beach Companies, serving the community for 30 years. For more information, check out beachcompanies.com. Lord, I am so excited talking to this young man. I don't know what to do with myself. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. We will be right back after these messages.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach with tips to help you stay well. We breathe every day and have been doing so since before we were born. But wait, let's think about this for a moment. Something as simple as breathing can enhance our health and well-being. When we breathe mindfully, we slow down, take deep breaths, and activate our parasympathetic system to relax our bodies. Mindful breathing goes like this. Number 1, find a comfortable place to sit still for a few minutes. Number 2, close your eyes and relax your hands on your thighs. Number 3, take a deep breath in and count to 3. Then exhale your breath and count to 3. Do this 5 times. We sometimes think mindful breathing has to be an intense experience, yet even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at WURDradio.com.
Have you heard about City Council's plan to build more affordable housing, repair existing homes, create jobs, and support small business? The Neighborhood Preservation Initiative will invest $400 million in Philly communities. Read about it at www.phlcouncil.com/NPI.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining me, I am having a fascinating conversation with Nafis Norris. Michael, this is my technical producer. Michael, I'm telling you now, when we get off the air, I want you to open up the cover this segment for me. Send me a clip of this entire segment. I am sending it to every school administrator I know, every school board member I know, every teacher I know, anybody that's working with young people anywhere needs to hear this interview, because we tend to look down on our children, especially ones who have had so much in their background that, you know, that would hold them back. Nafis is an amazing gem in the middle of our community, and he is a lesson. He's a walking lesson for every educator that would look at a child like him and say, you can't do it. For every educator that looks at black and brown children and refuse to put them in STEM programs, right? There is brilliance in our children. I'm about to cry. I can't take it, because Nafis, you just completely corroborated everything that I have been saying for 30 years of what is possible when we give our children an opportunity. You're about to make me cry. And we're not doing this on the show today, right? Okay. And I love your honesty in the fact that it really was, you know, you worked extra hard, your integrity at this, right? You didn't really necessarily have the grades, but you knew how to network, right? Building authentic relationships with people. All the things I say on this radio show every single time. And I'm so sick and tired of people downplaying our young people and telling them what they can't do. And I'm sick and tired of adults, grown folks, who are like, well, I've made it to my $500,000 home when I'm driving my X amount of car. The lesson I want you to take from this, son, is to always remember where you came from. Always remember that there's a young child coming behind you. Always remember, even if the only thing you can do is buy some kind of toy, a $10 or $15 toy that would encourage a young child to get into STEM. Oh my gosh, I gotta get it. I need tissues. Woo, Father God. Okay, all right. Marva's getting herself together. When COVID is over, I need to meet with you. And did I say my husband is an engineer?
Yes.
My husband helped to build the first dot matrix printer. that was created. Super smart, works my everlasting nerd, the nerd and all nerds. But I love him. I love smart people, right? And he's fought hard for young people to get into STEM. Fought incredibly hard when they told him no, they can't get into it. He said, nope, I'm putting them in. Even if it's in a club, I'm putting them in. They have won robotics competitions, and so he is having a moment listening to you right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
because
ma'am. Thank you.
Because for us, everything is possible when we hear you, and we need more students like you to get into STEM. That it is possible. Lord have mercy. Okay. All right, Nafis. All right, I'm getting off my soapbox. I'm so happy to talk to you. Here's my question. Here's my question for you. What advice do you have for the young 7- and 8-year-olds and to their parents who are listening to you? What advice do you have for them in terms of following their dreams, whether it's STEM or anything else?
I get that question a lot, and I always say the same exact thing. When you work really, when you put God first, and you work really hard at your craft, your dreams will never come true. Something greater will.
Jesus, wait. When you put God first and work really hard at your craft, right? Your dreams will not come true. Something greater will happen.
Yes. Because when you put God first, you start to find your purpose. You know, because a lot of us are walking in plans, not purpose. That's why a lot of plans fail. But when you walk in purpose, purpose does not fail. Because I remember my mother telling me, what failure story has God written in the Bible? Right. What person has not overcome in the Bible?
Wow.
You know, so that's why, and I always think of Ephesians 3:20. You know, now all glory to God who is able through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish and definitely more than we can ask for. You know what I mean? So I always think about that. You know, even with, you know, Solomon in the Bible, you know, he asked God for wisdom to lead his people. He was putting God first. And through God, he found his purpose. Right? And then he got all these other things that, you know, God was like, okay, because you put me first and you asked for something that was like kingdom mindset, I'm going to give you all these other things you didn't ask for.
Yes.
You know, so it was like, you know what I mean? You know, even in Matthew 6:33, and, you know, seek ye first the
kingdom of God, and everything will come onto you. Yep.
Yes. So it's just like when you find God, you find your purpose.
Oh, you are just so who raised you? Where were you? Who raised you?
I was raised by Barry and Michelle Norris in North Philadelphia.
How are they feeling right now? Are they listening to this interview?
They may be taking a nap. I'm being honest.
I love your honesty.
I don't know. I hope they are. But
so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to send them a copy of this interview. They should tell them I said, take a diggity dang bow. Take a bow. It's not always easy. There are no manuals for raising a child. There's just being black is a metaphysical condition that nobody has ever figured out yet, because they're always finding ways to take us through the ringer and tell us we're not qualified and what we can't do and what we shouldn't do and that we need to be in this, and this in order for us to be taken seriously. And you just flew all of that in the face. I love you, son, and I have never met you before in my life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just want to say this real quick. If I can, I don't know how much time you have.
You can. But I'll let you. When my other guests are on, I'm getting ready to talk to them too. But I'm going to give you a little bit more time. Go ahead.
Yeah. I never, ever want to take any credit to this because I did not draw this up. I couldn't have drawn this up. As a matter of fact, I did not even want to do this. Like what I'm doing now. My dream was to go to Olympics for track and field and, I don't know, move to Europe. but this was such a harder path for me. Yes. But, you know, sometimes your calling will crush you. And I cannot stress how much I give God all the credit because I could not have drawn this up at all because he's brought me through so much. I'm even currently writing a book called The Later the Greater.
Yes.
Because I've suffered, like these kids, you know, I've suffered what they suffered from. You know, I've been through depression and suicide attempts and, you know, almost facing jail time. You know, people don't know that stuff about me.
Right.
They just see this, oh, he's, you know, the first black guy to do this. And I was like,
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When the story was written about you in the Tribune, did they talk about any of this stuff that you and I are talking about right now?
Spiritually, no.
Okay.
But I have to get
all right.
his
I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that. When we get off the line, stay on the line with Michael, so that the producer, so that I can talk to you. I'm going to write a story that's going to make your toes curl because I write for the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. I'm going to write your story in a way because it does you a disservice to just talk about what you've accomplished and not really delve into all that you had to do to get to this place. The goal here is to motivate and encourage people who think that they can't do this, who are looking at you and saying, oh my God, he got into the pharmaceutical. I can't even spell pharmaceutical, right? And that they can't do it when your story is so much more interesting than the place where you have landed. Stay on the line when you and I get off the phone, and I will write the story about you.
Yes,
I promise you. Okay? All right. So you want folks to know that you've gone through depression, anxiety. You've had, you know, you just didn't know. My God. And your faith. Your faith. Somewhere along the line is going to be some preaching for you too.
Oh, don't. Oh, please, God. No.
Oh, I'm not. I know. But you see, son, the setup. This is not a setup for you to just do this. What you're doing right now. Your entire life is one big old testimony, and the fact that you have made sure that God. He's 26 years old, Bernita. She wants to know how old you are. The age of my sons. You're between the age of son 1 and son 2. So I'm looking at you, and you could be any one of my children, right? The fact that you have a story that leads into, and you put God at the center of it, and that you understand that when you put God at the center of it and you work hard, that you will not meet your dreams, something bigger will happen. My God. Thank you so much, Nafis. Stay on the line with Michael and give him your information so that I can reach out to you after the radio show, and I will write you a story. In fact, when I finish, I'm going to call Catherine Hicks, and we're going to make this a cover story. You need to be on the cover. We need a black man on the cover of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure, okay?
All right. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, Father God, I have to, listen, I need to gather myself. Wait, that mother needs a little tissue. I want business and industry leaders. If you are listening to this radio show on any level, if you are in city council, I want you to hear this story. You know, Michael, please, before the end of tonight, if you can extrapolate this entire interview, send me the clip to it, please. I want everybody to hear this, right? These are the things that make my heart sing when I come on the air every day to talk to folks. And this next story is about to make me cry again. So let me just hold on, put my glasses back on. Thank you, Dr. Major, for putting the blue tint on my glasses so my eyes are not hurting. I appreciate you. Latia Johnson and Rasul Bey. He's 7 with autism. Janice Armstrong wrote the story and sent it to me. Another one I think that's going to make me cry, but let me just get my whole self together because I love young people. He's 7, has autism, and just got over COVID-19, but he's helping others. What's stopping you? Janice Armstrong wrote the story, posted yesterday at 5 a.m. Rasul Bey and his mom have been through it lately. A school bus monitor, Latia, I hope I'm saying her name properly, Johnson, hasn't worked since Philadelphia public schools closed last spring. Diagnosed with autism at age 3, Rasul is high functioning but struggles with remote learning. Last month, Rasul and his mother were diagnosed with COVID-19. Lord have mercy. Like a lot of Americans who have been hit hard during the pandemic, theirs will be a lean Christmas. Not that you would know it from all the toys stashed inside their Oxford Circle row house. After getting an email announcing a toy drive at the Philadelphia Charter School for Arts and Sciences at H.R. Edmonds, Rasul and his mom decided to collect gifts to help. The second grader used the money from his savings, got funds from friends and relatives, and recently received a $100 anonymous donation that he used to pick up toys from stores such as Five and Below and the dollar store to support his food drive. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like not to have, said Johnson, whose unemployment checks are scheduled to... I can't. Okay. Latia and Rasul, are you both there?
Lataya's here. Rasul,
Lataya. See, yes. I know it's the Jamaican accent, man. Forgive me, Lataya.
It's all right. I'm gonna go on speaker so you guys can say hi to Rasul. Is that fine?
That's fine.
Okay, hold on. Rasul, come on. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Rasul. How are you?
Good.
You're good? So, listen, my name is Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am a host on a Black Talk Media radio station, right? We do everything blackity-black all the time. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Good.
You're good? So, listen, I heard about this wonderful story about you through a woman by the name of Janice Armstrong. Do you remember the reporter that wrote the story about you?
Yes.
Okay. And so now thousands of people are listening to you on the airwaves. Can you imagine?
Yes.
So can you tell us how you ended up getting toys for other children despite all the stuff that you're going through at home?
Yes.
How did we get the toys? We raised what?
Money.
And you used your money from your what?
Piggy bank.
And we went out and got how many toys?
130.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of toys.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It says here that you both had COVID-19.
Yeah, we had COVID-19. Yeah, it was a difficult time for me and Rasul and our family. You know, and with the COVID diagnosis, so many people don't make it out of having COVID. So that was my biggest prayer for me and Rasul, that we come out stronger. And that made me realize that so many people out here are battling things, and you never know what they're going through. And this is a difficult time for so many people in this world. Myself, other children, other families. And I didn't have a lot, but I said, me and Rasul could bless so many kids with doing this. And I never thought that it would take it this far. Like, the love from Philadelphia and people that are reaching out to me is so wonderful.
Wow. You know.
And yes, mom unemployment is about to stop. But you know what? My mom always taught me, you know, even if your blessings stop, you're going to get more blessings. So it doesn't even matter to me. It doesn't even matter. I'll figure it out when that last check comes in. How will I make it through the next week? I always figure it out.
Yeah. Lataya, right? That's how you pronounce your name? Lataya.
Yeah.
You know, folks talk a lot about what's wrong in Philadelphia, that we can't get it together, that when I hear stories, with people like you and Rasul, people like Nafis, who I just got off the air with. Did you hear me talking to Nafis, right?
Yes, beautiful story.
Oh, my gosh, just made my heart sing. You are the bloodline of this city. You know, you are the ones that people tend to ignore. You don't make the news because you're not shooting and killing somebody out there, right? You're not causing issues.
Amen to that. I said
right?
Yeah.
And so to hear when Rasul came to you and said that he wanted to do this, what was your first thought?
Well, I got to go back and look at the movie on Netflix. We were watching the movie, and they were talking about how it's better to give than receive. Mm-hmm. And I had the conversation with Rasul, and I'm like, you know, Rasul, it's so nice if we give out to other children. And he's like, yeah, Mom, we could give toys. And I was like, yeah, we could. So we just, you know, got what he had in his savings. I put a post out on Facebook for my family and friends to rally around to help Rasul. And my aunt shared it on her page, and it got to Anton Moore, and then Anton
Moore, yes, one of my favorite people, yes.
And I say this, and I'm gonna say this, and there's no disrespect to nobody, and our black children never get the recognition they deserve.
Come on.
When you hear about our black children, it's always about all this killing in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And I'm a mother of 3 boys, and I say this: sometimes when we hear all this stuff, we don't think about that these children are out here, and children out here can be a blessing. They out here doing things, and you never hear about children out here doing things, especially our colored children.
Yes.
All
yes.
you hear is the bad things. And I watch the news like all day, and I get tired of hearing this. I want to hear about the inspiration stories. I want to hear about the good in the community. I want to hear about what are these children doing and trying to turn their life around and doing stuff in the community. Like I told everybody, I don't want to pat on the back and say, no, we don't. I just want to bless children. And my birthday is on Christmas, so to know that those kids are going to be blessed, that's the happiest feeling in the world to me.
Okay, Lataya, your birthday's on Christmas Day?
Yes, it is.
It's my husband's birthday, too. He was born on Christmas Day, too.
Wow.
And you're making me cry. And let me tell you why. We talk about this all the time on this show. I keep saying to people, there's so much good that happens in this community. And you're right. We don't want to hear. We don't treat our little black and brown children as if they are just as precious as everyone else's child.
Yes.
We see our little black and brown children as rugged thugs who don't have feelings, don't have emotions, don't have thoughts, right? And that they're not smart enough. And so if there was a way for me, I mean, thank God for Janice Armstrong. She always sends me the great stories, right? But I want you all to know, from my heart to yours, there are many of us that see what you're doing, that understands that you are just doing amazing things with your children. And we pray for you all the time,
Thank you.
right? All the time,
Thank you.
right? We're not looking down on folks. Which is what makes me so angry. I'm like, are we here for the people, or are we here to make money? You know what I'm saying? What are we here for? What are we here for? Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, you just made me cry. I mean, I made it through the feast, and then I got to you, and you are when people talk about doing things for families, your family is what I think about. You take what little you had and you continue to give and give on top of what you didn't have, right? And here you are with your 3 sons doing the best that you can. And let me tell you something. When the unemployment money runs out, you know the story about the 5 loaves and the 3 fish, or the 3 fish and the 5 loaves? You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. People are going to hear this story, and somebody's going to reach out to you. And not only will you have money to take care of your family, you'll probably get a job too. I am declaring and decreeing it on this air, because I can't. Amen. I cannot. I really think that we have got to do and be better, and stop talking about what is so wrong with Philadelphia, when there are people like you out here doing all the right things, raising your children properly, right? Doing what you want to do. Trying to make a way out of no way, but that doesn't make the news. Well, it made the news today. You are on Mother's show. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, I do, sister.
All right. Listen, and Anton, solid brother, right? In the community, doing what he needs to do. What do you want people to know about Rasul? Because well,
I'm going to put it out there. Most people, I'm going to say this. Rasul is a high-function autistic kid. We found out at 3 years old Rasul was autistic. Many people that meet Rasul will never know he's autistic unless you've been around an autistic kid. So when I tell people he's autistic, or I hear people in the community talking about autistic kids, are like, oh, they're slow, they're retarded, they're stupid, I'd be like, hold up, no, they're not. They are the most smartest, intelligent kids in the world. And Rasul has big heart. He's always trying to give to anybody. I just learned in school that when he takes lunch, he tries to share his lunch with like 5 kids, and he only has enough for 1 kid. But he'll share his lunch with 5 different kids in the school lunchroom.
Okay, Lataya, hold on. Let me take a quick break, because I'm going to have to go off to the corner and wipe my tears out my eyes, because I can't see now. I can't see now. Just hold on one second, okay?
All right.
You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products, and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Keystone First VIP Choice HMO SNP Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan has a 4 out of 5 star rating and is one of the highest rated Medicare plans in the region. Keystone First VIP Choice and you are better together. If you live in Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, or Delaware County, and you have both Medicare and Medicaid, choose the Medicare plan that is working to help you get better care. Enjoy extra benefits at no cost to you with Keystone First VIP Choice. You get benefits like dental, vision, and transportation to and from your medical appointments. They also cover a fitness membership to a gym of your choice. $150 toward over-the-counter pharmacy items. There's no copay for doctor's visits. They offer a large provider network, a great prescription plan, dental coverage, and even eyeglasses. Plus, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You can change your coverage every quarter. Keystone First VIP Choice. The name you trust, the service you deserve. Call Keystone First VIP Choice today at 1-877-686-1760 or visit KeystoneFirstVIPChoice.com.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real.
With the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
This program is pre-recorded.
No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
Have you heard about City Council's plan to build more affordable housing, repair existing homes, create jobs, and support small business? The Neighborhood Preservation Initiative will invest $400 million in Philly communities. Read about it at www.phlcouncil.com/NPI.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I think I've gotten myself together. Latanya, are you there? Latanya?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so listen. You made me cry. Not in a bad way, my sister. You made me cry because your story is one that we need to hear more of, right?
Yes.
And I want to encourage you in two ways. I have two children of my own. And when they were younger, I was going through a divorce and was just really struggling, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And, you know, people were, well, you live in an apartment, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm in a much different place today, and both my sons have graduated from college. Both have moved out and living on their own. They don't want to live in Philadelphia area because they're saying that they're not getting the love, you know, there are no jobs here for them. And so they're both doing very, very well. And I remembered some years ago, they came to visit me, sat around my kitchen table, and I said to them, did you ever feel like you were missing something, anything? And the oldest one said, are you kidding me? What I remember most about being with you, he said, I didn't even know we didn't have any money back then. He said, because you would always make sure we ate at a certain time every night, and you always made sure we were in bed by a certain time, and you were always with us. We played board games, and, you know, you had all sorts of great family conversations and meetings with us. I wanted to share that with you to encourage you and know that even though people may not be paying attention to what you're doing, please know that your time and effort with your children is going to pay off incredibly well, and you will be just fine. The second thing I want to tell you is this. I have a second cousin, who was autistic, high functioning like Rasul. Guess where he is today? Temple University.
Somewhere probably working in an office building with a great job and a great degree.
He is at Temple University. He's in college.
Amen. Amen.
He's in college.
Amen.
And so, and it took us, all our family members coming together when they were treating, him different. I was like, and I rolled up into that school, rolled them right out, put them in another school district, and told the school district that they were in, this is my name.
Yes.
Do not play games, okay? And
Can
so,
I say a quote that I think about Rasul? I am his voice, he is my heart.
Yes. Say that again. I am his what?
I am his voice, he is my heart.
I am his voice, he is my heart. Yes. Oh, my God. He is my heart. I love this. Lataya, thank you. Let me talk to Rasul for a second.
Rasul, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, girl. From one black mother to another. That's okay. Come on.
So it's like, oh, I'm done school. I can do whatever. Rasul, come on. Rasul, come on. Come on the phone. These kids be so excited when school is over.
Yes.
Hello.
So now that you've done this and you've gotten some coverage, I know you didn't do it to get news coverage. I know you didn't. I know you didn't do this because you wanted to be on the news, right? Because it sounds to me like you've just been a very kind young man. Now that you've done this, is there anything else that you're planning to do that you want to tell your mother live on the air with Mother?
Say, we're going to collect toys for what? We're going to collect toys for the toy drive. We're going to collect toys for when it's the Eid time for Muslim children as well.
Yes.
So it's not just about Christmas. It's about, we want to celebrate all religions out here.
Yes. Ataya, thank you, Rasul. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for talking to me, okay?
You're welcome.
All right, bye, honey. Oh, my gosh. Lataya Johnson, thank you. Thank you for being the wind beneath my wings today. You're my last guest, and I was so excited to talk to you. And Rasul, keep us posted on what you're doing next, okay? And I suspect after you get off the air, there are going to be more people reaching out to you to make sure that you and Rasul and your family are okay.
Can I say, if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can email me at lataya3088@gmail.com, and we will get back to you at our most timely time.
Okay, so that is LATYIA 3088
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com. Please reach out to them if you want to donate toys and help them with this toy drive, anything you want to do with them. I appreciate you so much, Lataya Johnson. And Rasul, you have a great one, okay?
You too, and you have a blessed day, and God bless you and your family as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, Mother. Whoo! Okay. I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to get myself together. One story behind the other. This is just, it's too much. It was too much. Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. I'm looking at your comments on Facebook. If I read them, I'm going to cry. So I'm not going to read them. But thank you all so much for listening to both these stories. And I'm going to write about Nafis when I get off the air. He'll be my story for next week. Catherine and I were talking about putting more men on the cover of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun anyway, and black men doing good things, and he needs an in-depth story that goes beneath the surface, and I am going to be the one to give it to him. Let's see. What? Breaking news from Black Enterprise. Rashida Jones to become the first black executive to lead a major cable news network as MSNBC president. Did you hear that? Breaking news. A black woman is going to be the president of MSNBC. Woo! There is history being made. According to Deadline, as of February 1st, 2021, Rashida Jones will be taking over as president of MSNBC, one of my favorite show stations, making her the first black executive to lead one of the major cable news networks. She is replacing Phil Griffin, who will be stepping down next year. The chairman of NBC Universal News Group, Cesar Conde, has made the announcement in a memo that was sent to the staff. According to NBC News, Jones, who is currently Senior Vice President at NBC and MSNBC, will take over MSNBC on February 1st, 2021. I said this here. I said this next decade is a decade for the black women. We have worked hard. We've held our heads down and did what we're supposed to do. And not just black women, black men too. This is our time, y'all. You did not go out in the streets and protest for the abuse and the treatment of our people to get to this place where opportunities are being opened up. The only thing that I want to tell you is, as the opportunities open, be sure to bring someone alongside with you. Don't just get into the C-suite and forget about other people. And for me, my mentors are people that quite a few of them are sitting in C-suites, and they've remembered to come back down and to help those of us who are here doing the work. There's one more breaking news that I'm going to take, George. Lord, breaking from NBC 10 again. Doug Peterson has named Jalen Hurts his starting quarterback for Sunday. The Eagles announced today. This is a move that seemed obvious, but could also end up having major ramifications for the future of the Eagles and Carson Wentz. Hurts will start against the Saints. It will be the first start of Hurts' young NFL career. ESPN first reported the switch. This also means the Eagles will continue to bench their franchise quarterback, who signed a 4-year contract extension worth $128 million before last season. Wentz will be the backup on Sunday. Ultimately, the goal might still be to fix Wentz, but Peterson couldn't ignore the spark that Hurts gave the Eagles on Sunday in the 30-16 loss to the Packers. Thank you all so much. This is good stuff. Now, let me go on over here and see what Michael is saying. Lord have mercy. Lord. Okay, so, George, how are you, sir?
And how are you, Dad?
Well, listen, I done cried my little heart out already. Don't make me cry no more today.
Listen, autistic children are some of the smartest and best children
they are.
You know,
yes, they are.
4 of my godchildren, you know, in different areas are artistic, and 2 of them never went to law school in their life, and they're at Ballard Spar, and they're about the smartest 2 in there. You know,
yes.
I mean, their mother was lawyers, their father was lawyers, and they are. I mean, it's no telling. They never went to law school, but they know the law very well. You can walk up to them. People walk up to them all day asking them questions in the office, and they answer it off the top of their head, almost verbatim.
Yep.
That's
super
just
smart
the gift
people
that they have. You know, first of all, I want to thank Carlton Williams, who was head of the streets department, for listening to your show and dealt with that problem at 61st and Rapes.
Wait a minute. They moved the stuff?
Listen, last night they were out there removing that trash. They cleaned the streets. I've never known the water department to work at night cleaning sewers. Every last one of those sewers was full last night and clean. You know? So, you know, when you do what you have to do and don't be putting chapstick and knee pads on and you say what you have to say in the right – I tell you, people listen to this show, okay? That's almost mandatory that city workers listen to this show to find out what needs to be done and where they at on everything, you know? That's just that. That's just the way it is, you know? And I'm not into the thank you business because your paycheck says thank you, but I think that much is owed to him to say thank you. I appreciate what you've done because those people had to
thank
put
you,
up with,
George. Now listen to you.
Those people had to put up with rats. They had to put up with rats, smell, filth, and all that for 3.5 weeks. He had no idea the trash hasn't been picked up. You know, and the people been calling everywhere they was to call. They never got the notices or anything. But him hearing your show, he got on it right away, and they were there. They cleaned it up. Like I say, people were coming out there last night actually seeing how nasty and dirty it was out there. And, you know, the community was complaining. They got no answers. You know, they got no response. But
What's his name again? What's his name again, George?
Carlton Williams, head of the streets department.
Carlton Williams, on behalf
of
Marva.
He's one of the most decent city workers there is. You know?
I don't know who Carlton Williams is, but I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for cleaning up 61st and Race or wherever there was that all that stuff is going on. Thank you for listening to the show, but I also want to thank you for making sure that the people over there had the trash picked up to get rid of the rodents and everything. We appreciate you on this show, okay? Thank you, Carlton.
Let me say one other thing real quick. You know, the next time that people have a community meeting, just take my advice. Don't be getting laughed at when these people go home. Ask them don't ask them, tell them what you want. They work for you. They were elected by the people to serve the people. And all that, and like I say, it don't make me no difference. Whatever I want, I'm going to get, and whatever I need done, I'm going to get it done. But it's for people who are learning that don't know how it works. It works by not kissing up. You know, when you see people come on here kissing up, just look at their community and ask yourself what they get. Yes, they get some for themselves personally, but what do they get for their community? It's about your community. It's not about you. It's not about you wanting to get patted on the back. You know what? You ever notice how the mayor do a lot of these guys? You can always tell suckers. He pat them on the back. You know what you do? You pat your dog on the back and you pat your dog on the head. And that's what he do. And they love it. They just like cheer up. Just like those guys in Local 159, those the things with the prison guards. You heard today how the only way that those prisoners can get COVID, the COVID-19, is that prison guards have to bring it in there. But prison guards can get it, and then they almost as bad as the sanitation workers. Remember when those 400 sanitation workers died? They didn't get any kind of protection until they started hearing it on your show. When they heard it on your show, and then it started hitting, you know, the rubber started meeting the road, then that's when they started getting what they supposed to get. And those prison guards, the ones that's up there on State Road, every last one of them who voted for them two clowns, they should be arrested or they should be committed to see a psychiatrist. Because anytime you elect people to office, they're supposed to protect you. They're not supposed to sit there with management and sit there and go along with management want, because management tell you, well, you know, we don't have the money, we're being sued, this, that, and the other. So you're going to put your membership at risk because they telling you some sob story. Well, we don't have the money. You know, you got to make sure these guards come in no matter what. So what do? They get threatened, and then they go to their union rep and say, well, you know, you got to come in, man. Well, I got COVID. Well, let's see what we can do. They talking to you just like the elected officials talking to you, saying, oh, what, they didn't do that? What? I told them, let me get on that day. They don't get on nothing. They forget it by the next time they talk to the next person. And that's what the union, that's what the membership is finding out about these prison guards. They're sick. They're bringing it into the prison, giving it to the inmates. The inmates getting sick. They're locked down 23 hours a day, which is illegal. They can't do that. They can't say that they're getting it because no mail, no visits, no nothing. So how's the inmates getting COVID unless the guards bring it in? Plain and simple as that. Now, if they don't straighten that out, believe me, them lawyers going to be them, and the city's going to get sued again. They already got sued for the riot that they're still trying to figure out how to pay all this money out to these insurance companies. Now, don't make those inmates up there, like, come at you. You know, you're getting a fair warning. Handle your business.
All right. Thank you, George. I appreciate you, as usual, okay? And then keep us posted on what's happening up there, all right? All right. Wanda from Roxborough, how are you? Wanda? Oh, Wanda hung up. Wanda, how you going to call mother and then hang up, man? I was with it. I wanted to talk to you. Call us back, Wanda. All right. So let me there's so much going on here. Hopefully I can make it through until 4 o'clock without crying again. I usually make it through a show when I'm okay. I'm laughing, but Lord have mercy. All right. Let's see. Let me see. What can I talk about now? So much going on. Let me pull up. With virus surge comes a push to be tested. Black Doctors Consortium finds. Dee Patel, who was our program manager, sends us these news stories, and I'm grateful for it because it is here. Let me just make sure that I pull this up. This is written at the Tribune. Oh, there she is with her, Dr. Ayla Stanford with her 3 sons. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium has tested large crowds before. A free weekend testing clinic at Mastery Charter School's Shoemaker campus drew particularly long lines, though. It's a trend that started as people began to travel for the Thanksgiving holidays. Since about the week before Thanksgiving, we've been seeing lines like this, where we test about 300 and 500 people in 4 hours, and that is excessive compared to where we were, Dr. Ayla Stanford, the consortium's said Dr. Ayla Stanford, the consortium's founder. Saturday's testing clinic coincided with the Pennsylvania Department of Health Saturday report of 12,884 new coronavirus cases, the highest single-day increase to date. On Monday, the consortium tested 300 people on a rainy day. You know, black people we don't love come out in the rain. On Thursday, that number grew to 463. According to Stanford, those numbers are 3 times higher than her organization was seeing before the recent virus surged. Despite the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's advice discouraging travel over the Thanksgiving holidays, more Americans flew on November 22nd, and they're still getting ready to fly. Like, you know, tickets are $100. I gotta fly. I gotta go here. I gotta go there. Lord have mercy. Let me just mind my business. Since March. Right now, we're about 9 days beyond Thanksgiving. So all those people who did not stay within their household and or traveled outside of their bubble, they may now be developing symptoms or coming to see if they can get an all clear and get tested to be negative, she said. By noon Saturday, the street in front of the testing site had been transformed into a makeshift parking lot as people waited in their cars to be called. Another line had formed near the entrance, people who had chosen walk-in service. Norman Hunter, 62, was a driver and said it was his second time getting tested. A co-worker had contracted the virus, he said. Hunter chose the Black Doctors Consortium Clinic because of difficulty getting tested in other places around the city. This is the soonest I could be tested, he said. A lot of the other places are either overwhelmed with lists and appointments, and this was the soonest date and the closest area available. If not for Saturday's event, Hunter would have had to wait until December 9th. Dr. Stanford said a lot of other mobile testing sites shut down because of the recent weather. Oh my God, this is too much. This is too much. So we're getting ready to take another break. This will be my last break for the day. Want to buy black for the holidays? We've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Well, not to be outdone. Breaking news again from Black Enterprise. J.P. Morgan Chase names Bina Elliott as new head of Advancing Black Pathways. Black Enterprise reported how financial giant J.P. Morgan Chase is doubling down on its commitment to bridge the racial wealth gap within the Black community. This includes their Advancing Their Black Pathways program aimed at helping to bring more economic resources for Black businesses and individuals. This week, the corporation announced that Bina Elliott will lead the initiative as the new head of the program. Elliott will work alongside Brian Lamb, who currently serves as the global head of diversity and inclusion, to help oversee and execute strategies toward their diversity goals. Advancing Black Pathways is a bold and strategic commitment at J.P. Morgan Chase, focused on accelerating opportunities for Black people and mitigating the efforts of historical inequality, Lamb said in a press statement sent to Black Enterprise. It's a good day to be Black. It's a good day to be blackity black. It's a good day to be Black on so many levels. Organizations and institutions that would not think about putting Black voices and hearing us and showing up and seeing what we are capable of doing are now looking at different ways. We're done. We're done with the excuses of you're not good enough. We're done with the you don't have the right sound. We're done with all of that, right? We are here. We are unique to who we are, and there is an audience for all of us, right? So yeah, you can't keep doing what you've always done. It's a definition of insanity. So good. Thank you, J.P. Morgan Chase. Thank you for all the organizations that are stepping up to the plate and really acknowledging the efforts and the efficacy and the worthiness of Black people in our communities and beyond. Not just enough to take our money. You got to support us too. All right, moving right along. I'm so excited. Let me just go on back over here and mind my business. Let's see. Philadelphia police seek outside funding. So this is the time of the show where I talk about local news, right? Seek outside funding for early intervention system. This is written by WHYY. Let me see if I can pull this up. Aaron Moselle wrote this. The Philadelphia Police Department is seeking outside funding to implement an early intervention system, an electronic database designed to manage and retain personnel, as well as flag problem officers whose behavior may warrant some form of discipline. At the same time, the department is working with the city's Office of Innovation and Technology to identify a potential vendor for the system so the city can make a final selection once funding is secured. The hope is to have both pieces in place by the end of the first quarter of 2021. It's unclear how much the system will cost the department in the long run or when the department will actually launch the new system. So there's that for that. So move on to that. Let's see what else is here. Ooh, my. 3 people, 200 square feet, managing homelessness, remote school, and a life in a pandemic. Threats to the population of people experiencing homelessness abound, and they extend far beyond the ones you can ward off with a mask. Lord, it's too much. Education reporter Kristen Graham spends time with a family who turned to a shelter when their Germantown row house got too crowded due to COVID-19. Restrictions have tightened, and along with it, there's reduced access to the shelter services. Much of what the shelter once offered before the pandemic has been put on hold. It's not just living conditions. There's a digital divide, an achievement gap, and exposure to even more risks without the school safety net for young people. Here, a family shares their compelling stories with a hopeful ending in sight. And so that's on the Enquirer.com. Go and check that story out. Lord. Philadelphia may be on the way to a record for fatal drug overdoses in 2020. Shelters-in-place orders have brought new attention to the rise in Philadelphia's overdoses, which tracks the country's resurgence as isolation and exhaustion takes hold. Local health officials are now concerned that the city looks as if it could surpass the number of fatalities from 2017, our worst year for deadly overdoses to date. While the complete data picture does take time, overdoses have significantly risen in 2020. I have friends in Kensington who are just out there doing the best that they can to support and figure out something. A study this week discovered that at the height of stay-at-home orders in May, first responders got double last year's overdose-related cardiac arrests. Remember now, the hospital system is overrun with COVID-19 patients. The governor of Pennsylvania was on yesterday just beside himself with Dr. Levin, really telling people, like, we've got to do and be better, right? Because speaking of, Breaking news from Fox 29, Philadelphia health officials say a coronavirus vaccine could be available in Philadelphia as soon as next week if approved. According to Dr. Farley, if the Pfizer vaccine receives FDA approval in the coming days, a limited number of doses could be available in Philadelphia next week. He added that a second vaccine produced by Moderna could be approved a week later. If that were the case, the Moderna vaccine could be available in Philadelphia the following week. I want you all to be very aware of this. Even though the vaccines are on their way here, we still have to get this virus contagion under control. Can't have people running all over the place. We got to do something. The vaccine is not the panacea, and it's not going to cure everybody and everything. There's still going to be a lot of people getting sick and die if they do not start to shelter in place as soon as possible. Y'all are wrecking 2021. 2020 is already over and done with. We knew that 2020 was over in March. Now it's looking like 2021 is on a slow turn downward. Can we get ourselves together, please? All right? So, yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm keeping track of the time. Camden's first hotel in 50 years opens its doors in a pandemic. A Hilton Garden Inn. Hotels open all the time. But for a distressed city working towards economic revitalization that hasn't seen a new one in decades, the opening of the Hilton Garden in Camden waterfront on Friday was regarded as a major milestone. It just means that there is confidence here, that there is an opportunity here, that Camden was worthy of building a Hilton, said Mayor Frank Moran. It's a big deal. Officials and hotel workers gathered in the late morning rain to cut the ribbon on the new 180-room property in the shadow of the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Not only was it a celebration of another job-creating business starting up in the city, but it is also the first hotel to open in Camden in over 50 years. I hope they do well. I hope they stay afloat long enough for people to start, going to it, especially those who live in the city and want to stay somewhere just outside of the city. Okay, all right, okay. Let's see. In politics at the national level, Black Detroit lawmaker receives racist threats for refusing to entertain widespread voter fraud claims. In fact, I saw an article where the reporters wrote that thugs showed up. They wrote thugs, and it weren't black people. I was so impressed with that news media, and I'm going to look it up and talk about it on Thursday. They literally said thugs showed up at a person's house. Okay, Michael. Because they wanted them to change their votes. And you heard that the President of the United States called Pennsylvania Republican lawmakers trying to get them to say that the votes weren't right and to shift the votes too. This was written by The Root, Zach Lindley. Stop me if you heard this one before. Trump supporters are racist. Some people might call the statement debatable or even an outright lie, but anyone who can support a man who constantly proves himself to be a xenophobe and hater of all things Black Lives Matter is no different from their cult leader in my book. This was written by who? Zach Lindley. Okay. All right, Zach. Besides, when push comes to shove, they always show their true colors and their hatred for people of color. A Detroit Democratic lawmaker found this out the hard way after she took part in a more than a 4-hour-long hearing with the House Oversight Committee last week, in which Trump attorney and Danny DeVito's Penguin cosplayer Rudy Giuliani brought out a bunch of so-called witnesses to regurgitate all of the claims of widespread voter fraud that has been dismissed by judges, debunked by legal experts, and denounced by election officials, not to mention the fact that even Attorney General William Barr said there's no evidence to support the nonsense. Detroit Fox 2 reports that Representative Cynthia Johnson, the Democratic chair of the Michigan's House Oversight Committee and one of 3 Democrats who participated in the sham hearing, said she received multiple voicemails in which disgruntled and delusional Trump supporters threatened her and essentially said that she should be lynched in these United States of America. I'm going to leave that one alone. Listen, we've come to the end of another episode of The Source. Please know that City Council may run long on Thursday. It's their final session before they take a break, so I may not be on the air exactly at 1 p.m. Bear with us, please. Michael and I are in the wings waiting. If they end on time, then you'll see us on time. If they don't end on time, then we'll show up whenever they get off the air. Coming up next is Evening Words with Lord have mercy, Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.